Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
Welcome to the Nielson Show. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you enjoyed that song and the Frozen shot where I wasn't in it. Hello, Joaquin Gage. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage. YouTube Trev in the flesh. Hello, YouTube Trev. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Nassies? How are we doing? I'm back.
Discombobulated?
It's things are a little different. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The whole setup is rearranged and whatnot. Maddie was very busy this last week, but yeah, this is great. It's awesome to be back. I'm recharged, refreshed, and up and at 'em. I can't wait. This is awesome. What a great day. It's been a year, almost a year, and here we go. Today's a big one, so I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy you guys are here with me today.
I'm happy I'm here as well. Monster Day at EST.
We're all happy you're here,
Yeah,
Tommy.
thank you. Hope you're doing well out there on your drive. It was busy. The roads were busy out there at 6 in the morning, but yes, it is the Nielson Show presented by Southport Chevrolet. For the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask. Tell them that EST sent you, and you'll get 15% off accessories on your new ride. Boys, what a busy day it was yesterday in the CFL. We got lots to talk about. We have a great show. We're going to hear from Reid Wilkins. We're going to hear from Hernan Salas. The Reid Wilkins show does begin right here on EST later this afternoon, as does EST Afternoons. Gager, it's going to be a busy day for you. You're going to be here all day.
Yeah, it's you got to get up and get here, Tommy, and do the stuff, I guess.
You do.
It's crazy. Trev, I noticed you got the golden glow. You were outside a lot, hey? You got some sun.
I was, yes, I was. I was pretty lazy. I'm not gonna lie.
You're bronzed up. That's
yeah,
good.
a little bit. So it's nice. Was able to get some sun. Cracked open a few bevies. I had some stogies, and I kind of just chilled, and then went fishing a little bit. So that's where the sun comes in. So yeah, man, it was great. I got a little sun.
Yeah.
Thanks for noticing.
A little glare off the water.
I feel no, it's good. It's good.
Lots of smiles over there.
Thank you.
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, lots of smiles around today.
Absolutely love it.
Not the same around here without you, buddy.
That's the sweetest thing. Thank you, man.
A conch to the end of summer? I don't know. Like, I don't have the hot buttons. Do you got that? You got that? There. Fantastic. If you are listening, you can text us. As always, the Paris Jewelers inbox, family owned and operated, 22 stores, 4 provinces across Canada, large and high quality selection of engagement rings, including lab created at great prices. and flexible payment options, including do not pay for 1 year. Shop in store or online at www.parisjewelers.com, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice it looks a little bit different today. And that is because as we head into year number 2 of EST, we've cleaned things up a little bit. Gage, with the new graphics.
Looks good. Little bubbles there and nice little shot of the city. Yeah, I always equate this time as the start of the new year, buddy. Like
It is the start of the new year.
So it's 1 year at EST. Trev all tanned up. It's you need a change. That spring cleaning or fall cleaning, that you start doing. Things are changing. The leaves changed. Trev just said it's dark out with expletive when he looked outside, right? So it's winter is coming, so to speak. With that, a lot of fun sports stuff.
I'm glad you said winter is coming because that leads into what happened over the weekend. I went and visited my parents, hadn't seen them in a while. A stray cat wandered in to the neighbor's backyard. They live in a brand new area out in St. Albert. And this cat was meowing. And I thought, okay, it's your neighbor's cat. And my parents were like, well, our neighbors just sold their place and they were going through some things and they sold it and nobody lives in that house right now. And I was like, that's not their cat because the cat's been sitting on the patio for like 2 hours meowing the entire time. So my mom goes downstairs and she wanders over and sees the cat and then gives the cat like food, dog food, Penny's food. And the cat comes over so hungry, eats all the dog food. And then the cat stays on my parents' like patio underneath the deck. And I was like, I don't think this cat's leaving. And they're like, well, it's got to be somebody's cat. Nope, it's a stray. It's
Nice.
a kitten. All black, white fur up the middle, white little like snout.
Tuxedo.
Tuxedo cat. And then the white paws. My dad knew right away. He was like, oh no, this is not good. Her name's Khaleesi.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mother of Dragons. Yeah.
All right.
And Penny loves her, but she hisses at Penny.
Of course.
And I said, what are you going to do with this cat? You can't leave her outside on your patio because there's coyotes. My dad had just finished a story, and he's like, the coyotes got some geese that weren't ready to fly. And you could hear it. And I was like, well, you can't leave this little kitten out there. She's an angel. And so they put her in the garage. And then I texted my mom yesterday. I said, how's the cat doing? And she goes, well, SPCA is closed. We're not sure what to do. We're not letting this cat run off. And then she's like, she just follows us.
Oh.
Khaleesi just follows us.
Of course.
Ate Penny's food, pooped in the garage, and then ate a live butterfly.
Ugh, it's just a beast.
It's a beast.
Yeah, that's good for them to take in the cat. I had my cat. I'm not a cat person at all.
Same.
Yeah, they'll eat you if you die. So I don't like that. And I did my part this year. I almost saved that cat this year. It did die in my car on the way to the vet.
Oh, right.
No, they're better people than I am, Tommy. I would shoo the cat away even if it was around.
That was the one that was in the tree.
Yeah,
And
the back. Yeah,
back legs were
I
not
don't know.
working.
It was probably up there for a night or whatever. And it just that was sad.
You're
Really
still a
sad.
hero. Not all heroes wear capes. They wear
Yeah.
number 31 in orange and blue.
Yeah, in one of the last years that that 31's going to be retired because Grant Fear's going up into the rafters.
Amazing. Also, my parents made me clean out my stuff, and I brought a little treat for you.
Oh wow! All right. Thanks.
May I grab it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my gosh! Look at this.
So basically, I kept a lot of crap. My parents are like, you need to move this. My dad needs to put his car in the garage. Hasn't put it in there in the year that they've lived there. It is the 2000-2001 Edmonton Oilers team photo. And I looked at it. My mom's like, is this garbage or do you want to keep it? And I looked and I saw one Joaquin Gage.
Oh yeah, jeez.
And I was like,
my
I need to
young
bring
there.
this in.
Holy smokes! Look at that.
You look great. So I think we should find a place for this. This is the 2000-2001 Oilers team photo. Find a place for it. Gage, you need to sign it, and we get it framed.
All right.
Inside the EST.
This is the sun too. So
Yeah, so I had all kinds of articles. I had like the sale of the team. I had Wayne Gretzky's last game, Wayne Gretzky's last visit to Edmonton as a player. I had all kinds of news articles. And my dad's like, well, do you think those are worth anything? And I said, no. No, they're not. But I found that, and I was like, I have to bring it in. So
Sweet. I got new gloves there, too. That's great.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pads didn't come in yet, but I'll hold the...
when would they have taken this photo?
Well, I'm trying to see, because there was one where Anson Carter was photoshopped in.
Really?
Yeah, and it looks awful. But then Mike's in there, too, so it was obviously just... and he's not photoshopped. So
Mike Comrie.
Yeah. So it was probably in the new year, like in January sometime, I think.
Yeah.
When they would have taken that, because new guys came in and they redid him with Anson and Mike.
Right.
Yeah, and they just fired this off. So
It looks good.
yeah, it's a good team.
Good find.
Yeah, that's great, buddy. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of garbage in those boxes, and we ended up condensing. I had a lot of hockey cards, too. So 2000, 2001, Edmonton Oilers team photo.
Sweet. Thanks,
and,
Tommy.
no, it was a good memory. And my mom
Totally
was like,
redeem yourself.
are you going to show it to Joaquin? Yes. Yes, I will.
I think there's another one we did that day. It's a kind of a fun photo, and we're all on the Zamboni all over the place.
Oh,
like guys
cool.
are, so that's I have that one. I should bring that one in too.
Bring that one in.
Yeah,
But that's for the EST studios. So, all right, lots to talk about. Crazy weekend in the world of sports. Everything's happening now. It feels like we're just waiting for hockey to get going, and it looks like the players are going to start rolling into town right away. Obviously, a lot of people reeling from the news of Johnny Gaudreau and his brother and the passing of that. And that was not an easy show to do.
No.
Last week. And you know what? The hockey world continues to mourn. Very, very, very sad. Nice touch by the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, I like that in the how many Gaudreau jerseys were at that game yesterday? Pretty cool.
It was very well done. The flyby on the Labor Day Classic by the Fighter Jets, always cool. And then the sports world as a whole taking time to recognize Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, which was absolutely fantastic. A really harsh reminder for what was supposed to be like one final happy weekend of the summer.
I know. Yeah, just couldn't come at a worse time.
I know.
Hearing how his father talks about his boys, and that's just, it's heart-wrenching, just heart-wrenching. Yeah. But to see the outpouring of affection, like the steps of the Saddle Dome, people going there and placing things there, and I mean, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of 13, especially in Calgary. I think throughout the whole year, I wouldn't see why not. He was a big part of that team for a long period of time, and like I said on Friday, a guy that comes in with the moniker Johnny Hockey. And lives up to it, keeps it, and that's how I hear everybody say it. CNN said Johnny Hockey, and it's just so sad. And there's a lot of things that, like you're getting on how it happened and things like that. I still don't. I've tried to research it a little bit. I don't want to go too deep, I guess, into why or how it happened. I mean, it shouldn't have happened from all accounts of what I'm looking at. Yeah. But, I'm just... The kids were so young. Just seeing all the pictures of Johnny with his wife and kids, and they're pulling those little statements of he hopes he's remembered as a good person, not the hockey player half the time in all those interviews he's doing, right? And just seems like a solid individual. I saw Jaromir Jagr wrote a little thing about him, and just glowing praise for this guy.
Gaudreau assisting on Jagr's last NHL goal. Yeah. Hundreds of goals. And, the legend himself had some nice words. The one thing that I saw from the weekend, and I feel like there was a few of these people that went to the steps at the Saddle Dome and paid their respects to Johnny Gaudreau, was a guy in an Oilers jersey.
Yeah.
Kind of head hung,
Yeah.
and pensive, you know? And I was like, damn it. Like that's
Yeah. I mean, I was upset when both Tkachuk and Gaudreau left Calgary. More so because the Battle of Alberta seemed to be like really ramping up.
Yeah.
Like you want that. I think as a fan of either team, you want both teams to be
100%.
competitive and battling throughout the year and get to a playoff berth between the two teams. And yeah, it was sad to see him go. And I saw in Columbus too, like people were putting out sticks and things like that.
But Ohio State, before their game, recognized him.
Really?
100,000 people inside that stadium.
Wow.
Yeah, they did I was watching that game over the weekend, and they did a fantastic blurb. Nice touch. So, I mean, the football world, hockey world, yeah, they crossed paths, but they certainly did with the Stamps. Like you said, Gage are wearing the Gaudreau jerseys on their way into the Labor Day Classic, and then the Yankees had a nice moment for the Gaudreaus as well.
Nice.
And then on the field in the Labor Day Classic, after all the respect was paid, Edmonton did what Edmonton is supposed to do in Calgary on Labor Day.
Did they ever?
And lay a whooping.
Wow.
35-20. Elks win it. 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, that's you know, it was such a fine narrow margin for the Elks. Like they could be sitting really pretty. Like
I know.
They could be looking back at this season and go, gosh, we could and not that they're in a good spot now, you know, the way that they're playing, things are going well.
Distance.
I was a little bit concerned in the first half, I guess. There was some definitely missed opportunities by Bethel Thompson. I mean, he got rushed, but there was a couple underthrown balls, a little out of the, and it turned out to be okay.
Well, he popped off.
Yeah,
He did pop off.
but that was my concern in the first half. I go, ooh, you know, and all the third quarter woes that and he even said it in his halftime kind of interview there that he was actually shocked at how many yards he'd already thrown for. And then he said, well, we gotta really focus in on this third quarter because we've been absolute crap in this third quarter, and they were good. So no, it was an enjoyable game. I can't wait for the rematch. You know, obviously Calgary's going to probably. Turnovers killed them in that game. They just got.
Well, Jake Mayer threw some terrible balls off his back foot.
And and it takes the defense to capitalize on that, right?
Yeah.
They were rushing them. Great coverage downfield, and another great call by Dustin Nielson.
He was all right. Him and his best friend Glenn Suter at McMahon Stadium on the call. McLeod Bethel Thompson pops off for 486. What'd you think of Tevin Jones really quickly, given the deuces? He didn't make it to the end zone the first one, did on the second one. I was like, I had no problem with it. He gave the deuces on the picked up fumble.
Yeah.
And made it to the 3 or the 2 yard line.
Yeah. Whatever. I was more. I liked the part where Suits. They talked about the Victoria game, and
Atlantic. Yes.
And Suits goes, great seafood, and Dusty goes, didn't have any.
Classic Nielson.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, so good. We're off and running. It is the Nielson Show. Top Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage, YouTube, Trev, as we kick it into year number 2 here at EST. And we've got a sports update coming up with the new graphics. And we're on our way. If you have any contra requests, get those in 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. And, of course, via the Nasty Chat. What's up, Nasties? As we go on this Tuesday. Time now for a sports update with YTT.
It was a Labor Day classic indeed. The Edmonton Elks defeated the Calgary Stampeders by the score of 35-30. Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 25 of 36 passes, good enough for 486 yards. The Elks now have 4 wins in their last 5 games. Elsewhere in the CFL, Bo Levi Mitchell remains undefeated in the Labor Day Classics as his Hamilton Tiger Cats defeat the 6-5 Toronto Argonauts by the score of 31-28. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani quest for 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs continues as the superstar stole 3 more bases in yesterday's 11-6 win. Ohtani currently has 46 stolen bases and 44 home runs. No other player in MLB history has achieved this feat. Big headlines in other sports, Joey Chestnut defeats rival Takeru Kobayashi, setting a new world record of eating 83 hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. In doing this, Chestnut beat his old record by a total of 7 hot dogs. And lastly, Max Verstappen finished 6th in the Italian Grand Prix over the weekend, to which he said, quote, "Last year we had a great car, which was the most dominant car ever, and we basically turned it into a monster." Verstappen and Red Bull will now shift their focus to the next race, which is the Baku Grand Prix. The sports update brought to you by Nisku Glass. If you're looking for replacement glass for your construction equipment or fleet vehicles, or home or business owner looking to upgrade your space with high-efficiency windows and modern glass designs, Nisku Glass is here to help. From your home to your business to your vehicle, they won't just meet your glass needs, they'll shatter them. Check out their Instagram or give them a call at 780-955-7989 and see what Nisku Glass can do for you.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.34 in Edmonton. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. It is the Nielson Show right here on EST. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage, YouTube Trev with you. Text us 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. And of course, hit us up in the nasty chat. I see you. Contra Quest we will get to. Absolutely. If anybody's off to school, although school started for the majority of kids last week. If you got anything that happened over the weekend that you'd like to recognize and give a shout out to, we would be more than happy to provide a conch. We're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. Popeyes has boneless wings, and they have a continuation of their bone-in wings platform, which will allow customers to have the choice between the ghost pepper bone-in wings or the all-white eat boneless wings with a milder flavor for those that can't handle the heat. The success of the current wings platform, they are continuing to lean on their existing sauce offerings, including signature hot, honey garlic, honey barbecue, and garlic parmesan, as well as the classic. And I love how they call it the bone-in wings platform.
I like that. I've perfected the hamburger, just so you know.
Tell me more about this, please.
Yeah, I'm naming it the 2-day burger.
Why?
Because it takes 2 days to make. Actually, it takes a little bit longer than that. But
how? You just ground beef?
No.
Throw some stuff in there.
It's a process. 3 different cuts of meat. Grind it yourself. Mix it together. But the sauce. So you know how you go to the supermarket, they have the bones, like the marrow bones that you can grab.
Yeah.
So I took those and took them home. Salt and pepper. Threw them in the oven, like really hot. So it kind of gets the marrow all soft. Mm-hmm. Then coat them in tomato paste, cover it in vegetables like carrots, onions, celery, garlic, roast them again for a little bit more. Then in a big, huge pot, throw it all in, fill it with water, and just boil it down.
Wow.
Strain it, put more water in, boil it, and reduce it again.
Yeah.
And then I get like some portobellos, some Walla Walla sweets, fry those up. Then I pour the sauce into that, cook the burger, just a nice creamy Gouda on top.
Oh, that's all?
That's it. And I also made my own pickles. So with my homemade pickles on there, chopped up with like Dijon and ketchup sauce, like that pink sauce, with my homemade jalapeno dill pickles. It's crazy.
That would be good.
It was nuts, man. I was like, I perfected it.
Were they appreciated?
I'm the only one that had it.
What?
Yeah.
Megan didn't have some?
No, I should.
Bodie didn't have some?
No. They were.
Liliana didn't have.
Nope.
Wow.
No, I was sampling. I was trying it out first. It'll blow your socks off. Wait till
You're a mad scientist.
I am.
in the kitchen.
Wait till Murray McCord gets a load of this thing.
Oh my goodness, I'm very impressed. Very impressed. If you have any crazy hamburger recipes, I can't believe I'm saying this. To the extent Joaquin Gage has, then text us 780-218-9999. Obviously, we're going to talk about people. We're talking about Leon Draisaitl. Of course, that's not going away. If you're wondering if there's any news, all I heard that leading till Thursday, because Gage, you and I were talking yesterday, leading up to Thursday, there had been some discussions. Jeff Jackson's still at his cabin, not in Edmonton. So, and obviously Stan Bowman's around, but it's not Stan Bowman solely dealing with it. And he was also not in town. So I don't know if you're expecting any news. I just heard that there's some discussions. Obviously the hockey world took a step back and hit the pause button, rightly so. We're not here to announce it.
I have friends of mine that have been texting me and calling me and giving me the info. And I'm like, what? Where are you hearing this? So
yeah, well, that's why I just quickly brought it up. It's like people like, announce something. What? I'd like to, but that's the latest. That's what I got yesterday. I texted David Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey insider.
Yeah.
And a few other people, but Pags is all over it. What did he? Pags had something before anyone else last week. When I texted him, he wrote back, this is how it is right now because people are enjoying their long weekend. I really don't give a blank until next week. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. And he's like, but if you really need to know, he had the, what was it? The Seth Jarvis deal on Monday. And he said the Canes fans went after him and were all over him, but he got it right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Roland texts in, do you know anything about cap hits on NHL deferred
oh, my God.
payment contracts?
Oh, God.
So
Chris Johnston wrote something about that.
But I think there's a way, like I didn't look into it too much, and I'll do it later today,
Yeah.
but Puckpedia has like a Excel kind of thing. You pop in the numbers and you can kind of see how it works. It'd be irresponsible for me to talk about it because I haven't looked into it too much. That's another thing. They're saying my rabid Oiler friends are saying it's all deferred and all this stuff with Leon's deal. But interesting.
I'll read CJ's stuff. Because he was talking about deferred payments, and I was like, my brain hurts right now. Where is it? He had like a huge thing. Multiple teams have explored the possibility of using the mechanism in talks this summer. The VGK made Jonathan Marchessault an offer with deferred payments before he hit free agency, for example. But the #Hurricanes got it done with Jarvis. Fair to assume they won't be the last. Deferred money deals lower the cap hit because of a present value of money calculation. In parentheses, the year 9 money Jarvis is paid in 2033 won't be worth as it would be today. An extreme example of this is Shohei Ohtani's LA Dodgers deal. The $70 million AAV on that contract obviously was a big part of it. And CJ, man, there's like such a long chain about this. On that contract was reduced to roughly $46 million because Ohtani deferred $680 million of the $700 million contract. CJ ended his tweet stream with an important caveat to this thread. As pointed out by NHL front office sources, the main reason deferred contracts are so rare in the NHL is that players have typically resisted entering those arrangements. Generally speaking, players want as much up front as possible.
Yeah, I guess. It makes sense, I think, and later on that it's lower cap hit. Mm-hmm. I always wondered about it because wasn't Kovalchuk, was it Kovalchuk when he signed in New Jersey, like it was, and then he retired, but at the end of it, he wasn't making much, right?
Right.
It was but then they got charged. They were structuring contracts like that knowing full well that they would retire.
Yeah.
Right. So
They penalized the Devils for that.
They
I believe,
did.
if
They
I
did.
recall correctly. So we'll see where it goes. And just passing along what our Hello Hockey insider Dave Pagnotta said to me outside of I don't give a expletive right now. I'm on holidays. But text us 70.
Amos Moses is into the chat. Morning, boys. Can I get a conch for my wife and all the other teachers heading back to work this morning?
All right.
Also, just a shout out to my 2 new EST hosts starting their journeys today. Knock 'em dead, boys. Good luck. Amos Moses.
Love that sound.
Thanks, Amos. That's encouraging words. Yeah, it's crazy. Friday we were kind of hanging out, and Tommy's sitting there, and I go, "Gosh, Reid was here, and
Busy.
it was busy, and
Yes.
it was was it you that said, "Wow, this is finally a radio station"? And,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, this is a digital radio station.
Yeah, it is, but it's the same thing.
But the amount of hustle and bustle around these hallways was encouraging. It was fun. It was lots of ribbing. It seemed like there was. I don't know how the hierarchy goes with this. Obviously Dusty's the boss, but he gives it out as much as
He does.
but as much as he takes it too. But yeah, it was. It's cool. Good start. I can't wait to see once everything gets rolling here and we're up and running, and hopefully, like most people, I think that afternoon is once the lock shop, then going into 2 guys and an oil stream. After that, that void is now full. That's great.
Yeah, it's 6 to 6. It starts today, EST afternoons with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas. The Latino Heat will be joining us later on in the show. And then after that, you guys are going to be handing it off to Reid Wilkins and Jay Milne for the first ever edition of the Reid Wilkins Show. Those boys have been doing rehearsal shows
I know.
for over a week, and
Yeah.
they're not messing around. So.
No, and Reid was like, "Shoot, we should put some of these out there because they're quite good."
Yeah.
He's kind of upset that he did some of those, but yeah, full professional from Reid. I also ran into a great broadcaster this weekend at the dog park. One Louis DeBrusque with his lovely wife Sydney. Yeah.
Dennis Lewis DeBrusque.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was good to see Louis, seeing his dog down there, and it's funny because he was like, he has done nothing. Preparation for the NHL season. He was saying, he goes, I got to start looking at stuff because it was so long for him, right?
Yeah.
And I know he didn't go through all the playoffs, but that's a grind to do all those games. So he's back at it right now, learning, talking to people probably this week and getting ready for another great season with on the broadcast. So
Gage, we're 10 days away from the Young Stars Classic starting in Pentic.
crazy.
I know. It's insane.
Yeah, him and Jack back at it again.
Yes.
Talked a little bit about Jake DeBrusque too. So
Very excited about Vancouver and the opportunity there.
very excited.
Yeah.
So,
Quiet games against the Oilers. Louis.
oh, let's hope so.
Right.
But yeah, he's all settled out in Vancouver. Seems like the family's a lot more happy to have him out west and being able to. Of course. If your kid is playing in the NHL and you have the ability to watch even more games, I'm sure they'll make the trips to Calgary and of course the games here in Edmonton. Maybe a few trips out to Vancouver. I think when he started, I think Louis was saying it was tough for Christmas. Sometimes he was by himself, right? He didn't come home, and the flights to get to Boston isn't always the easiest from Edmonton.
No,
so
there's not a lot of easy places to get to from Edmonton.
No. So it good for them. Good for and Jake's just a solid dude.
Yes, he is.
It's funny how if you ever meet him, his cadence is just like Louis when he talks. It's so funny.
And he giggles like Louis too.
Yeah, it's great. Great player.
Yeah.
Wish him all the best, but not too much.
Facing 100. Ooh, very nice. I like it. Hit that thumbs up. We are past 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. year number 2, away we go here at EST. I do have a few conch requests that I need to get to. The Oilers preseason, by the way, gets going Sunday, September 22nd, 4 p.m. against the Winnipeg Jets. We will have the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show for you. It doesn't look like we're going to be doing the preseason games. I think we will probably do 1 or 2 later on in the preseason. They have 8.
Yeah.
They have 8 preseason games. Yeah, Trev's like, that's brutal. It's going to be myself, Matt Cassian, and Hernan Salas, who gets going with the EST afternoons with Joaquin Gage later today. We're going to hear from Dustin Nielson just after 7 o'clock, and then Reid Wilkins at 7:35 or so. 8 preseason games, Gager.
Too much.
That's a lot of preseason. You know what it is? It's this.
Yeah, but
And I'm making the money sign.
Ugh.
Not watching.
Gross. It's gross.
Well, Oktoberfest, they have the tent getting ready to go up in the fan park.
Oh, do they?
And that is this as well. They made so much money. Good for them. And apparently, by all accounts, it was a good time at the fan park.
Huh.
I never had a chance to go there. We were on the air, obviously, for pre and post. But everybody said the fan park was popping off with that the party tent. And I know DJ Bose, Tyler Bosencool, lives in my building, and I worked with his dad at the Oilers. He was the DJ there. He was the house DJ, and he said it was awesome. So they're bringing it back for Oktoberfest, which happens in September, by the way.
Yeah, I like the extra activities around that area when games are on, like being outside for as long as possible. I mean, you can't be out there at minus 40, I guess, but I love the heavy jacket, maybe the glue vine, watching a game outside with people, like the Weihnachts, the Christmas markets of Germany, right?
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun. Something like that down there would be great, but yeah, you have to be responsible. Europe, they're so responsible with that stuff. Hard to find a cop.
All right, let's get to this one. Tyler in Terwilliger, I love this, says, fellas, I am back from a 10-day trip to the shoe shop, and I'm an engaged man. Popping the question, is that worthy of a conch? Tyler in Terwilliger, congratulations, 100%. This one's for you. Lucky guy, lucky lady.
Yeah. He's got one hell of a personality. I'll say that because I've seen who he's engaged to. That's way out of his league. Unbelievable! What a personality on Tyler.
You've seen?
Oh yeah, I see him at the pop-up park, and I've met him at the pop-up park in Terwilliger, and yeah, Tyler, good job.
Well
way
done.
to Beyonce that thing. Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it. All right. Nicely done. Any more conch requests, get those in. 780-218-9999. The Wolf, says super excited for the Energizer Bunny with a soft touch and a great wardrobe. Jasmine to co-host her first show. That is also today.
Yeah, that's
Man,
today
there's
too.
so much going on. So Jasmine will be joining The Hangout. Today is her first official day. We've got 2 new shows and a couple of new hosts. And Jasmine is one of them. She's going to bring it Association City.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Oh, she's I think like her first show I was on with her in the Hangout, and she talked about her fantasy league, looking for people to join. She knew everything about fantasy. I don't.
Jasmine doesn't mess around.
Yeah, she doesn't mess around. Her takes on stuff have a very unique view, which is great. Other views on sports and teams and what they're doing is required. We can't all have the same outlook. I think.
Why don't we just agree for the next 2.5 hours?
No, that's not
Boring.
good.
Boring. Tyler in Terwilliger says, thanks, Gager.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's laughing, punching above his weight.
Oh, gosh, is he ever.
Well done. Well done. I'm very, very happy to hear that. Congratulations, Tyler in Terwilliger. To you and the soon-to-be or eventual Mrs. That is fantastic news. Great weekend to pop the question.
Yeah. What a weekend.
Weather was fantastic.
That was crazy.
Things were happening. Concerts galore.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about Pink.
It was good.
Was Caleo was here, and then yesterday was Kings of Leon. I saw downtown
were
buzzing.
they?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, man, so much was going on over the weekend.
And Sheryl Crow was before Pink. She's still really good, man. It was really, really good.
Fit and limber.
Wow. Unreal.
Trav, do you know Sheryl Crow?
Name's familiar.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure if I looked at up on Spotify her name, I'd be able to recognize some of her songs. Sheryl Crow. Yeah, that's a very, very familiar name. Okay, I'll be right back.
Massive in the 90s. Yeah.
Massive, like huge deal, huge deal. Andrea getting into the inbox, 780-218-9999 says, hey, Tommy and Gager, can I get a conch for mine and Jason's 18th anniversary? Congratulations, Jason and Andrea, 18 years together. Power couple, Gager.
Nice. Yeah, that's...
We gotcha. We gotcha. Oh, you see Fergie's prostate?
Yeah. Yeah, good morning, fellas. How about a conch for all you rascals at EST for the start of your second year? Fergie's prostate.
Thank you, Fergie.
Thanks, Fergie. That's great.
We're going to be seeing Fergie at the SDs, by the way. We have to vote on those. Matthew Iwanek and the panel have dwindled everything down. Those go September 17th at the Gaudreau Theater, 7 p.m., $10 if you're interested. Somebody texted me yesterday, actually, Jolene from The Score. She's like, I need 6 tickets to the Estes. I was like, perfect. Talk to Matthew Wanek. It's just Matt at edmontonsportstalk.com. He will get you set up. We're basically just looking to cover the price of the theater. So $10 gets you in the door. I'm dressing in a tux. Do you have your outfit picked up?
It's a work in progress.
All right. There you go. My parents actually, or was it somebody else? So Derek Van Dies was like, Lieutenant Eric and Dusty need to show up in the Dumb and Dumber blue and
just the orange and blue.
Yeah.
No, that's that would be solid.
That would be great. Jasmine texting us. She's excited to get going on the hangout. Joining the crew permanently. That is fantastic. What else do we have here? Joelle wants the wet fart conch, please. Joelle, ew. I don't think you have that. You don't have that, do you, Trev?
I have to, that one's in the archives.
Thank
I have
God.
to dig that one out.
Yeah, somebody else asked. I think Jocelyn asked for it too.
It's pretty good. I
gross.
still don't think Dusty knows that that is a conch that we have because we played it while he was in Davos.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wet, I love that. Maybe I'll bring it back here. Let's see.
Let's see if you can dig it up. Grumpy Cat texting and says, oh, baby, cook that burger medium. Great. Now I want lunch. You're talking about your burger.
Yeah, no, last week I figured out the toaster oven, right? So
cooking pizzas.
Yeah,
right?
I was cooking pizzas. So it's a game changer, I think. So we're gonna be here a lot, I guess. Lunch, getting stuff in. Mm-hmm. Couple take and goes from Italian
Center Shop.
Italian Center Shop is always a fine little lunch, right?
Adam says, ask Dusty about his signature burger recipe. I think he would probably just point to you and go, that's my signature burger.
And, hey, Dusty goes with the frozen patties on the grill. Nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing. They're good.
They're fine, yeah.
You go.
You get the Angus ones.
The prime
cheese, whatever.
The prime rib burgers.
You can dress them up.
Yeah, I don't know what is Dusty. His palate is so exquisite and refined. Is it? I don't know if he's even a ketchup or mustard guy. Is he just straight burger, just cheese? I know I've tried to when I give him his little care packages at games and stuff. I'll try to slide some green or shrubbery in there and see if he. But he takes all that stuff.
Guaranteed. I will come see you on Saturday at Commonwealth.
I will be there.
No.
Yeah, I have a golf thing this weekend, so I'll be in Whitecourt. We'll see. I might make it back. We'll see.
All right. Well, I was looking forward to that. The
people at Commonwealth know me so well now. When I walk in, I don't even check in.
You're Joaquin Gage.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just come and watch the game with you.
You should. That'd be lovely. Looking forward to it. The rematch from the Labor Day Classic. The Elks with a huge win yesterday. We're going to hear from Dusty in about 10 minutes time. We'll get to more of your texts. If you want to slip in a contra request under the wire, fire it our way either via the Nasty Chat or, of course, the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. It is the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet, Gazzola, and Gage with you as we get you set. You know what was interesting, too, today? You could tell that the summer is winding down. Traffic at 5:50 in the morning.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get this one in before 7. H.E. Pennypacker. Can I get a conch for the first day of teaching for me?
Wow.
Retiring at the end of this year after 32 years. That's awesome.
Round
Good
of
work.
clicks for H.E.
Good work.
Pennypacker, one of the best aliases out there. I remember H.E. Pennypacker from the 1260 days. That's a lot of kids, a lot of young minds you've shaped, and a lot of bad kids you probably dealt with.
Yeah.
Going where I found the 2000-2001 Edmonton Oilers team photo and brought it in because a young Joaquin Gage is in there with new glove and blocker. As I was going through my stuff, I happened to find an 11th grade report card.
Oh, yeah?
From the Edmonton Catholic schools. And I looked at it and laughed. And my mom was like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Found my report card." She's like, "Oh, yeah? How are your marks?" I'm like, "Terrible."
Oh, that's great.
So H.E. Pennypacker, congratulations, starting his last year. And I failed a couple of classes in 11th grade, chemistry being one of them.
Oh, gosh.
Barely got by bio. And I remember Mr. Huckaluck was my chemistry teacher at Austin O'Brien. And I think I had a 45%. I had a lot of absences because I knew I was not going to make it in that class. And it had thoughts or whatever, right? And it just said, suggest other program.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
well
good.
played, well played. Congratulations, H.E. Pennypacker. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your mornings, getting you set for those days at school. And we have a couple minutes if you want to slide in any final conch requests in there. That would be fantastic. So, yeah, let's go to Rob. Says, "Hey, guys, I bet Dustin has ketchup, no tomatoes, because he hates tomatoes on his burgers." Probably. We're going to hear from Dustin right away here so we can confirm. He might deny it, though.
How was the meal at Bunting's?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Damon doesn't mess around.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I got Dusty to try, lobster tails. And he goes, "That's pretty good." Yeah, especially when it's dipped in garlic butter.
I would choke because I'm allergic to shellfish, but he tried it? You actually got him to?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Well, it looked good, right? Sometimes the presentation can steer Dusty in the right direction.
Touche. And the way Damon, his golf tournament is top notch, first of all. And then secondly, they have the keg in there.
I know.
And
It's
you're
not,
just like, that's really good.
he phoned me and he goes, "Hey, I'd love you to come." I go, I couldn't. I had too much work to do. And he goes, "Well, come afterwards." And I go, "Damn, I can't come out there and just for a quick visit. It's it's too much fun, too much good food, and too many laughs." So
Lots of good people, too.
we promise next year I'll be there.
All right. Joaquin Gage makes his promise that he will be at the Damon Bunting golf tournament in support of the Robin Hood Society, doing great stuff over there. Actually, Damon and his brothers supporting that cause. Fantastic, as always, of course. All right, Trev, one more conch because we're off and running. We're not at year number 2, but we've kicked off the week of year number 2 here at EST. If you're watching, new graphics, they look very clean. A conch to everyone out there joining us as we begin a new year. Trev, nicely done on the graphics, by the way. So here we go. Hour number 2 kicking off right away. Dustin Nielson will be joining us. Let's conch and then go into a sports update with YouTube, Trev.
It was a Labor Day classic indeed. The Edmonton Elks defeated the Calgary Stampeders by the score of 35-20. Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 25 of 36 passes, good enough for 486 yards. The Elks now have 4 wins in their last 5 games. Elsewhere in the CFL, Bo Levi Mitchell remains undefeated in the Labor Day Classics as his Hamilton Ticats defeat the 6-5 Toronto Argonauts by the score of 31-28. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani's quest for 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs continues as the superstar stole 3 more bases in yesterday's 11-6 win. Ohtani currently has 46 stolen bases and 44 home runs. No other player in MLB history has achieved this feat. Big headlines in other sports, Joey Chestnut defeats rival Takeru Kobayashi, setting a new world record of eating 83 hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. In doing this, Chestnut beat his old record by total 7 hot dogs. And lastly, Max Verstappen finished 6th in the Italian Grand Prix over the weekend, to which he said, quote, "Last year we had a great car, which was the most dominant car ever, and we basically turned it into a monster." Verstappen and Red Bull shift gears to their next race, which is in Baku Grand Prix. The sports update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. Maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Be left to tie a fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about a game in person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:05 in Edmonton. Good morning. It is the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage with you. YouTube Trev, making sure everything is going smoothly. Or Tweva, as he used to call himself. You just found out about
I didn't
this.
know he did that. That's hilarious.
I know. Dustin Nielson will be joining us shortly. We'll go over what was a busy week in the sports world. Obviously, CFL Labor Day Classics. We had Touchdown Pacific. Dusty called the game in Victoria. Looked like a great time. Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions having themselves a day. And Nathan Rourke also given the forearm shiver to Farhan Lalji. I did not like that. Because I've done those I have to do them whenever I do games, you have to do them.
Yeah.
And like Farhan was just teeing up a good question. Like not one that he was trying to get at anything. And he knows Nathan Rourke, obviously. Farhan's all over the BC Lions, Vancouver Canucks. Farhan's a staple out there, right? Like, and he gives him the not gonna talk about Farhan, and then gives him like the tap on the chest and runs away. Like I was like, everybody's going to talk about that. They're going to get the people to be like, idiot sportscasters, stupid that they make them new interviews. And then you're going to get the people like, what a jerk, this and that. Listen, it's entertaining, it's spicy. People go, ooh, because it's a bit dramatic. But like Farhan's a pro. Farhan did I think he did like a 6-minute video or 8-minute video on like his thoughts on Touchdown Pacific and all of that. I think he was okay with it. But like, Nathan Rourke showed up Farhan there. And that, to me, I feel bad for Farhan, even though he handled it well. And it was a good. He was teeing him up. He was juicing him up. Gager, like if you had yourself a good first period and you, for whatever reason, were doing the walk-off interview at the intermission, which is very rare for a goalie, I'd be like, Gager, you made 16 saves that period. You were facing a ton of pressure. You guys killed off 4 penalties. Take me through what you saw. That's what Farhan was getting at.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I understand. See, I look at it from both sides, and I look if Nathan Rourke sees it as I'm answering a question. I've had some pretty poor performances as of late.
Yeah.
I don't want the focus to be on me so much. I can see that to an extent, but again, the more mature, that's the athlete Joaquin, the old athlete thinking, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm focusing on this game, but me now thinking this is an opportunity to talk. If it's about the team, then talk about your team.
Yeah.
How well you can deflect. You don't need to run off and do that. And I'm sure that relationship is tight enough where if that happens, it's not a huge deal.
No.
But it does kind of show up the broadcaster a little bit, saying, "Oh, he's just not gonna do this with me."
Yeah. Anyway,
it's kind of like going on a date and them saying they're going to the bathroom and just leaving, right? You know,
that never happens. All right, Dustin Nielson's ready to go. It is the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. For the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask. Tell them EST sent you. You'll get 15% off accessories on your new ride, and you can get a deal on Silverado 1500s, heavy duties. Visit their website at www.southfortchev.com. Back from a trip to beautiful Calgary, Alberta, and Victoria. The one and only Dustin Nielson, namesake of the show. Hello, Dusty. How are you? How were your adventures over the weekend?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Adventures were fine. Good drive back last night. Nice. Everybody on the road was moving along nicely, so it was good to get back. I heard you talking about Rourke, and I'm sorry, man. You got to suck it up.
You got to answer that.
You're getting paid $200,000 in marketing money.
Oh,
you're just going to brush off. You're going to brush off. MBT did an interview yesterday. Jake Mayer was in a lot of trouble yesterday. He still did an interview.
Yep.
And I know Nathan doesn't like to do it. That's why he kind of short answered Farhan and took off. But I'm sorry, man. You're supposed to be the guy who's going to be the face of the league for the next 3 or 4 years.
Touche.
Probably got to handle it a little bit better.
Yeah. And Dusty, like you and I have worked on these games this season. They're done in a minute. And
it literally takes like 40 seconds. 40 seconds, just 2 questions, and then you can take off. There's not much to it. You can just give your canned answer. You don't need to leave Farhan hanging like that.
No.
I don't know. I didn't. I was a little disappointed in Nate for that. That wasn't cool.
And they were having a good game. Obviously, the result was Rourke was a beast in that game. How was Touchdown Pacific, by the way? Give us your breakdown of A, the game, and then B, everything that they did in Victoria, and because you and your best friend Glenn Suter were on the call a couple of times this weekend.
Best friends with an island vacation. I mean, that's basically what it ended up being.
That's beautiful.
It was really, I thought it was really well done. I mean, they had a nice broadcast location for us. It was like I was calling a university football game again. I was like right there. It was very cool. The whole atmosphere, the whole buzz was terrific. I mean, the place was absolutely sold out. They only could seat like 14,500 or 15,000 in there, but there was a good buzz. And you noticed it like the day before. BC Lions jerseys started to pop up all over Victoria.
Like it.
Somebody stopped suits on the street after a lady, I think, and was just like, "This was amazing. We need this all the time in Victoria. It's one of the best things that's ever happened here." So people in Victoria were very excited about it. This was not a test drive for CFL expansion. This was just a great event. I mean, I'm sure they're going to look to do this in like 3 or 4 other different cities. I wouldn't be surprised back in Victoria next year, then maybe somewhere else for a year, then back to Victoria again. And ended up being, I would have liked to, from a broadcast perspective, a little bit of a tighter football game. But the home side won. Amar Doman, who's from Victoria, paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that stadium was good to go. His team snaps a 5-game losing streak. Like it couldn't. Nathan Rourke has his best game since returning. It could not have gone better for the BC Lions.
Well, they were up 31-6 at half. I mean, it cruised to a 38-12 victory over the Ottawa Red Blacks. And then obviously lots happening on Labor Day. And we saw the Elks put up a pretty good performance themselves. Dusty, what were your takeaways from that big win yesterday in the LDC for the Green and Gold? Because we're not used to seeing them win in Calgary at McMahon on Labor Day, especially in the last decade and a half.
Yeah, it's just the second time that they've won in the last 12 years. They won in 2021, and now they've won. Now before that, they hadn't won since 2011. So, and not only did they win, they did it in impressive fashion. Like, that game was never really in doubt. I know they moved the ball really well in the first half, and they had to settle for some field goals, and Faithful missed one. And it was closer than it should have been at halftime. But in the second half of that football game, I mean, they just absolutely went to work. They were by far the better team on offense. They were by far the better team on defense. They did give up that special teams return touchdown by Peyton Logan, but I mean, those things are going to happen. But they were outstanding. I mean, 3 different receivers with over 100 yards. One of them goes for over 200 yards. Like, are you kidding me? It was very impressive, man. I thought MBT played his best game as an Edmonton Elk, not even close. And there were some spots there, like after that Peyton Logan return, Calgary's probably thinking, if we can hold him here and stop him, and we'll get great field position and have a chance to tie this football game. Yeah. But MBT didn't allow it. I mean, that big play to Jones that essentially sealed it away. I thought he was excellent yesterday. So, 4 of their last 5 they've won now. The Montreal Alouettes game, they probably, I'm not going to say should have won, because Montreal's a very good football team.
They could have,
They put themselves in a spot to win that game.
Yes.
Beatty doesn't blow that field goal with whatever it was, 3 or 4 minutes left. He gets a chance to win it later in the game. So, I mean, they've been playing really good football for a month and a half. They get Calgary again at home next week. I'm thinking that's probably going to be a win. And they're right back in the thick of it. And arguably, along with the Bombers, the hottest team in the West right now. Yes. So they look for real. We knew that their receiving core was going to be legit all year. They pick up Tevin Jones like off a scrap heap, and he's become an absolute monster. They've got 3 running backs who can make an impact. And I absolutely love watching Niles Morgan and Nick Anderson run across the field defensively. Like, those 2 guys are fun to watch.
Dusty, Joaquin, Gage, 2 guys and a goalie, afternoons on EST with...
Who are you?
He's got business cards already.
You know who I am. I want to ask the question now with Bethel Thompson throwing for, what was it, 486 yards?
Yeah.
The Trey Ford discussion is, who starts next game with Trey looking like he's ready to come back, or are they just going to? Is it more important for this team to kind of stick with the status quo and keep Bethel Thompson running this thing?
Well, in the end, I honestly don't think it matters. Like, I think they win with MBT, or I think they win with Trey Ford. Calgary's been struggling mightily. Now there could be a bounce back coming for the Stamps, but they've been awful on the road so far this year. So I don't necessarily think it matters. You could make the case, you're coming home, it's going to be a great crowd. The crowd loves Trey Ford. Yeah. You could go to Trey Ford. Like, there's ways to justify that. But McLeod Bethel Thompson is coming off a career high in 486, just picked up the win. Yep. I think you probably go with MBT. Heard yesterday that they did have some red zone packages that they could possibly slot Trey in for. Didn't necessarily need to get there. So I think you probably start MBT. But I said on the broadcast last night, like, the Elks all of a sudden have a problem, and it's not one of those like bad QB problems. It's a good one. Like, you've got 2 guys who are playing well enough to be starting quarterbacks on a lot of the teams in this league right now. So I think they'll probably roll out MBT. I don't even know if I'd say short leash. I don't know what you're going to do with the quarterback situation, but hard not to start a guy who just delivered a win for you on the road in the Labor Day Classic and had arguably the best game of his entire career. So now, with that being said, I would like to say that like 60 or 70 of those yards, I don't know how that counts as passing yards when Geno Lewis fumbles the ball and Tevin Jones picks it up and takes it.
Yes.
And Tevin Jones got credit for like 81. So I guess it was 81 yards.
Yeah.
He still would have been over 400 yards. So you're going to take that away from him. But Tevin Jones, technically, I was talking with the stats guys after the game, did not get credit for a catch there but got credit for 81 yards. So if he didn't have any other catches in the game, his number would be 0 catches, 81 yards receiving, which
That's
is
messed up.
It's a little bizarre.
Yeah. I threw it out to Gage earlier. I said, what'd you think of the deuces from Tevin Jones? And when you're hot, you're hot, but he was feeling it. He gave the deuces, gets taken down inside the 5. They punch it in.
Tough.
Yes. I know. But then
I didn't notice it. Yeah, he did it again, but like I didn't notice it in the original play, like until I saw it on the replay.
It was
I
very
like, oh,
quick.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But then he did it the second time and they didn't catch him. And like Tevin Jones is spicy. Like he was doing the Reggie Begelton fishing reel celebration.
Yes.
Which I knew probably pissed Reggie off. They both were number 84. Like Tevin Jones is, as MBT referred to him after the game. He I don't know if it's his nickname or it's something that MBT just said, but he said, he's the dragon. And I was like, what? Tevin Jones' name is the dragon? That's amazing. So yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. But Jones has been, look, he's different. Like he's kind of a physical receiver. They've got a bunch of guys like, he's a thick dude, man. They're a good football team. I honestly, I know it sounds crazy, but with the way they've played the last 5 weeks, man, they could compete for a Grey Cup should they get into the playoffs.
That's crazy.
It is the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage with you. YouTube Trev holding things down behind the monitors. The namesake of this show, Dustin Nielson, joining us now after a big Labor Day weekend in the CFL. Text us 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. And of course, we've got some good ones. Dex is like, Dusty said, for real.
Did I? My bad.
Yeah.
Apparently, Atif was in Calgary yesterday. I didn't have a chance to see him. I headed home immediately after the game, but apparently he was there. He's a Jarius Jackson's good luck charm. I want to see a picture of those two guys together. Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, good to see Jarius Jackson get another Gatorade shower, and Labor Day Classic wins, obviously huge for the green and gold. We got another text.
Anyway, it's interesting. Like, what if Jarius Jackson takes them to second place in the division in a home playoff game? Like when they first took over as interim coach, I was like, new ownership. They'll have new man, and this is probably still the case. New management, put everybody in place, but Jarius Jackson is having a chance to show what he can do right now with the roster, and I think you have to be impressed, man.
Well, Dusty, like we've had a few texts come in. This one said Trey Ford will be the face of the CFL. You're talking about Nathan Rourke, who will be the face of the CFL as he makes his reintroduction to the CFL. Had a monster weekend, obviously, for the BC Lions, but I think it was Farhan as well yesterday. He kind of had a little debrief on the game. And, he said, I'm paraphrasing here, and this was his tweet. It was, despite the record, after watching that game, the Elks, crazy or not, might be a contender. And he also alluded to like the slow start in the 2011 BC Lions. And that's kind of a theme that comes up when teams get off to slow starts. But they have weapons. You talked about Nick Anderson and Niles Morgan. That tackle Niles Morgan made, where I think he dove over the pile to take down the Stamp, was phenomenal. And like, if these guys are getting to a groove, Dusty, and you get a win on Saturday against the Stamps again, you leapfrog them, and you're right back in the mix here. So what Farhan and what you're saying, I don't think is particularly crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because to me it does sound a bit crazy of us to say it after a game against Calgary. Like Calgary's just been very meh-ish all year, right? And Dave Dickinson will probably agree with that statement. So, and then if you look at the other wins, they beat BC, but Jake Dolegala was a quarterback. They beat the Riders without Trevor Harris, but they almost beat Montreal, and Montreal was phenomenal football team so far this season. So their other win was against the Ticats. We know the Ticats. I do expect them to beat Calgary again. And then they get a home and home with Winnipeg. And now who knows about the current status of Collaros? I'm sure he'll probably be fine. But if you can go out to Princess Auto Stadium and beat the Bombers in Winnipeg, a Bombers team that's been red hot, first place, turning their season around. If you can go out and even come away with a split against the Bombers, I think at that point, justified contender conversation. A couple of wins against Calgary, if they do get the second one, might not move the needle for everybody, but if they can split against Winnipeg, man, people are going to start to take notice. And like they're right there in the West. The entire division's separated by 4 points right now. So just a huge month coming up for this team.
Gager was curious about the kicking for the Elks. Beatty out last game. Dean Faithful goes in. You swap out a guy that's 72% for a guy that topped out at 76 last season. And I was watching and I'm like, oh, this might not.
Wasn't
go.
it the first one he missed, right? And
yeah,
just gets the
77. Yeah, he was 78 last year.
78, pardon me.
He hit one from 41, then he missed one from in closer.
The PAT was dicey too. The first one.
There's a couple that were a little bit wobbly.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny. We talked about they had a chance to roll him out for like a 48-yarder with the wind at his back, and they didn't. They decided to punt, and Julian punted it for a single. And I was watching. I was curious, so I was watching him in warm up, and he was stroking it through from like 52 at that same end. With the ball was landing at the back of the end zone from 52. Like he was absolutely hammering it. But when they didn't roll him out from like 49, I thought, okay, well, maybe they're going to approach Dean Faithful the same way they approached Dean Faithful last year. Look, they won the game. He did have a miss. I think you'd probably go back to him again. Didn't cost you this football game, which you can't say about Beatty so far this season.
Good point.
Neither of these guys are Paredes or Sean White or Lewis Ward, who are the three most accurate kickers in the history of the bloody league. But you'd like to. I think it's probably fair to give Faithful a few more reps if he can go 3 for 3 in the rematch game or something. But also, I mean, it really depends on what their conversation was with Beatty. Like, did they tell Beatty, hey, man, just sit down for a game, reset yourself, we'll go back to you, right? For a veteran guy like him, that very well could have been the conversation. So we'll see. I mean, I think fans for the rest of this season will always be a little bit nervous.
They should
about
be.
the kicking game, which is fair with the way it's gone so far.
A kicker needs load management, really, Dusty? Is that
no? It's a reset. It's a reset.
right?
Go out and kick a bunch of field goals and get your gate. Like Boris Beatty was almost 93% last year.
Yeah.
Now it was the greatest career of his season by far.
Yeah.
Or greatest season of his career by far, but he's nowhere close to being that guy right now. So
he's cost them games.
Yeah.
Simple as
They got a couple guys on the roster, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they could do it where they both come in and kick together. I don't know.
It's the Nielson Show. Gazzola, Gage with you, and YouTube Trev. Dusty joining us right now. Text us 780-218-9999. Of course, get into the nasty chat. The Nielson Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet on the tarmac in Monza. What do you call it? Temple of Speed?
Temple of Speed. Yes.
Charles Leclerc.
It
with
was
the big win.
Speed.
Masterful.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gager, because I've been holding off on this for a bit.
By Charles. I don't know how much you saw of it, Dusty, but the biggest questions coming out of F1 this weekend, I think, are the strategy selections of McLaren and what are they doing to. It looks like they're focused on the constructors, but they're still in striking distance. Like Lando can, with the remaining races, the ability to catch Max with a Red Bull car that seems to be not as dominant as before. And they still would have got the 2-3 finish.
Yeah.
Still would have got the constructors points. And Buxton was just going off on McLaren for not switching the drivers and saying, what are you guys doing? What's your take on McLaren not actually looking like they want to be the not only constructors but drivers champions as well?
Yeah, it was interesting this week. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening with that. I mean, they've been what would you say, Gager? Best team on the track for 4, 5, 6 weeks now.
Yeah,
I would say
am I going
for
back
sure.
too far? Like at least
for
a month.
sure. Yeah.
At least a month.
Yeah,
I mean, they
5,
have
6
put
races
themselves
for
right
sure.
in the thick. The constructors. I mean, I'm not going to say it's theirs to lose, but it kind of looks like it's theirs to lose with the way that they've been trending and the way that Red Bull's been trending so far. So interesting decision this past weekend. Awesome to see Charles Leclerc sort of slide in there and get this one, considering a Ferrari race, and they managed to get it done. But if I look at it this way, and at the beginning of the season, even through the first 3 or 4 races, if you would have told me that this is the way it's shaping up, and we're talking about McLaren, and are they hungry enough to go after this? And I would have never thought that would be the case. Like at the beginning of the year, it was looking like it was going to be a Verstappen runaway again, and now it's not. And this has been the best 2 months of F1 that we've seen since we started watching after the documentary and kind of got the great drama between Max and Lewis there that first season we were watching. So I'm all here for the drama. Maybe McLaren, just because they haven't been in this spot in quite some time, maybe they're in over their head a little bit, but I hope for the sake of the entire grid that they continue to put the hammer down here and track down Red Bull.
Papaya rules.
Papaya rules.
Papaya rules.
That's what we have around EST right now.
Yes.
Papaya rules.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, speaking of that, that's perfect segue because Max is a salty boy right now, but Dusty's a happy boy as he drives this F1 car into the finish line after year number 1. Dusty, we got the new graphics up there. Everything's looking good, sounding good. Obviously, we had a big first year, and we can't thank our audience enough and those who stuck with us from 1260, those who are joining us now. Listen, man, we've got 2 big shows kicking off today. We're going 6 to 6. We've got Jasmine joining now permanently on the Hangout as well. Give us your take on the year it's been and what to look forward to here at EST.
Well, I know one thing to look forward to just popped up behind the scenes there. I see Reid Wilkins locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yes, sir.
So, that's going to be exciting. Today's a great day. Like when we started this, we're like, well, we'll get to 1 o'clock and then we'll see where it goes. And I don't think when we first launched last year, we'd be thinking full 6 to 6 within a year. Mm-hmm. But the support was very good. We couldn't do it at all without any of our partners. You'll see a bunch of them on the screen right now. They've helped make this possible. And then other people wanting to get involved, like Reid wanting to be involved and Glue Guy wanting to be involved and Gage are basically just showing up one day and never leaving. And then Hernan Salas wanted to come back and join us as well. So, I mean, we said it at the beginning, like we just want to build something and work with good people. I think we've accomplished that in year 1. We've got a bunch of great people coming on board. And now there's no reason to flip anywhere else. I mean, as soon as I'm done 2 guys and a goalie today, we'll just turn it over. I'm so excited. We'll turn it over to EST afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. Like, that's going to be absolutely incredible. And then as I'm out and about doing stuff in the afternoon, get to tune in or iHeart or on YouTube and watch Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk. Like, come on. It's a tremendous day. I'm very excited. I'm pumped up for that. I'm even pumped up for the lock shop today.
Yes.
Because it's the first week of the NFL season. I know Huss is going to want to talk about Chestnut and Kobayashi, and I did watch like the first 7 minutes of that as I was like getting ready to leave. But the first week of the NFL season, Chiefs and Ravens on Thursday. Eric will be back at Century Casino. I'm gonna start dishing out parlays over on CoolBet today, and we'll just hammer it all week over there. So just a huge week, a great week. If the others could somehow sign Leon Draisaitl this week, it'd be great for us. So we'll see if that can happen as well.
Love it, big boy. Thanks for hopping on. Great work over the weekend. Enjoy, rest up because we have a big week ahead, and you'll be back in the captain's chair tomorrow. So thanks for hopping on.
Enjoy the walk to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be in the office in around 9:30 after I get these 2 kids to school. So
no crying today, please.
Well, too late. Already done. All right, see you, boys. Hi, Reid. We'll talk to you a little bit. See ya.
Beautiful. There's Dustin Nielson. You can catch him on the CFL on TSN, and then, of course, right here on the Nielson Show, the namesake of the program. And yes, we're all very, very, very excited to launch into year number 2. You can catch it today, EST afternoons with Hernan Salas and this man right here, Joaquin Gage. And then the boys will lead into the Reid Wilkins show with Jay Milne. That's going to be absolutely fantastic from 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. Dusty said it, good people. And then Jasmine, of course, joining again as a co-host on the Hangout, which is good. I'm happy about it because it's like hockey season starting. I'm going to be at the rink. I know Maddie and I are a tandem on the Hangout, but Jasmine's going to be there, and we have a lot of great hosts on the Hangout that help Maddie out and helps me as well and allows me to do what I get to do at the rink. So here we go.
Yeah.
Season number 2 of EST, and we're almost there. It's this week. Football's kicking off. CFL is in a great spot. Hockey's right around the corner. F1 is off the summer break. Baseball.
Ohtani, 50 and 50. That's
Goodness.
ridiculous.
Yesterday, Ohtani just Guy's
What a beast.
specimen, man.
I mean, I thought, well, okay, he's a DH now. How much is he going to impact the game? But
Huge.
Massive.
Huge.
Just massive.
The best baseball player ever.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
he needs a championship, and he's in a
does.
prime spot for that with the Dodgers.
He's in that Mike Trout kind of.
But he left.
I know.
And you know what? And that's where Trout will be, unfortunately, the best player to never really do anything unless the Angels can figure it out. Ohtani did something. He took his career down the street to the Dodgers.
Baseball is such a. I'd love to know the ins and outs of baseball and the etiquette of everything.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that moment where Ohtani facing Trout at the World
WBC.
World Championships, it doesn't get. You can't have anything else. Sporting events like that don't happen. Like having the best on best in those types of situations, right? It was very unique. One of the greatest sporting moments, I would say, over the last 10 years. And Ohtani just throwing smoke. And I read some weird stat about that. That was the first time Trout struck out, like in hundreds and hundreds of at-bats or something like that.
Wow.
It was crazy. So neat.
It is
Awesome.
very cool. Very cool. And they made a card about that.
Did they?
Or of that moment.
Yeah.
And I think both guys, they presented it to both guys and they signed it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And they're friends too, which is the other.
Well, they played.
they played together for a long time. So, we're in the thick of it. It is that time of year, and super excited. So keep those texts coming. It is 780-218-9999. A Paris Jewelers inbox and the nasty chat. Good morning, everybody. Time now for a sports update with YouTube Trev. Right after Reid Wilkins from the Reid Wilkins Show here on EST.
It was a Labor Day classic indeed. The Edmonton Elks defeated the Calgary Stampeders by the score of 35-20. Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 25 of 36 passes, good enough for 486 yards. The Elks have now won 4 of their last 5 games. Elsewhere in the CFL, Bo Levi Mitchell remains undefeated in Labor Day Classics as his Hamilton Tiger Cats defeat the 6-5 Toronto Argonauts by the score of 31-28. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani quest for 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs continues as their superstar stole 3 more bases in yesterday's 11-6 win. Ohtani currently has 46 stolen bases and 44 home runs. No other player in MLB history has achieved this feat. Big headlines in other sports, Joey Chestnut defeats his rival Takeru Kobayashi, setting a new world record of eating 83 hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. In doing this, Chestnut beat his old record by a total of 7 hot dogs. And lastly, Max Verstappen finished 6th in the Italian Grand Prix over the weekend, for which he said, quote, "Last year we had a great car, which was the most dominant car ever, and we basically turned it into a monster." Verstappen and Red Bull will now shift focus to their next race, which is the Baku Grand Prix. The sports update is brought to you by Park Mazda, and on that note, I'd like to share this quote: "Mazdas are all about speed. Hot, nasty, badass speed." Eleanor Roosevelt, 1936. That's what it says. Okay.
Got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Draisaitl setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Draisaitl setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
$7:38 in Edmonton. This is the Nielson Show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage with you alongside YouTube Trev. Keep those texts coming in. Paris Jewelers, inbox 780-218-9999. Of course, get at us in the nasty chat as well. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you to everyone for getting us to 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 plus now, which is fantastic. And this baby's rolling downhill in the best way possible. And we can't thank you guys enough for that. We can't thank our sponsors and partners enough. South Fort Chevrolet bringing you the Nielsen Show. Go see Daniel and the team over at South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Sask. Tell them EST sent you. And, of course, A&W text of the day on the line. There's been some good ones. A lot of happy texts because we're going into... This is not officially year 2. I think that officially... Awanik says it's like September 5th. But really, we went on the air on the 6th, so that's this week, but we're celebrating. We've got the new graphics up, the overlay that YouTube Trev created. Absolutely fantastic. Trev, very clean, very nice. Well done, my friend. And Trev back from vacation as well. Dave texting in says, happy 1-year anniversary. I really enjoy the programming. So glad you've been able to figure this out this far. Can't wait for the new shows today. I am right there with you, Dave, and thank you for that so much. We do have EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas at 1 o'clock, and then we have the Reid Wilkins Show with Reidrick himself and Jay Milne. The boys have been working on their show. They were doing rehearsals last week, and I would go to Reid, how's it going? And he'd be like, pretty good. And like Reid, if you don't know him, like he's, first of all, great person. Secondly, amazing broadcaster. Third, very serious about stuff he's passionate about. And Elks, Oilers, his work are things he's super passionate about. So let's bring the man in right now. He's been standing by. Reidrick, hello from his satellite studios. I hope that was an adequate tee up for you. Was that good? Were you okay with that? I don't want to let you down, big boy.
Well, I enjoy that you call me Reidrick. My
That's what I call
uncle's...
you.
Yeah, my uncle Dan Chomlak, who passed several years ago, unfortunately, but he was also in radio. People might remember him around, I want to say, late 70s or early 80s. He was the host of the Ukrainian Hour on CFCW and did other radio stuff. He used to call me Reidrick. Nobody else called me Reidrick until you. And then in the Damon Bunting Golf Classic on Thursday, I was in a cart with Blake Bunting, Damon's brother, and I was lining up a putt, and he's like, "Put her in, Reidrick." And I was like, "What? Where did that come from?" But yeah, I think that's an adequate introduction, and I've learned over the years that every once in a while, and I try to work on this, but there are times I'm a bit of a goofball. I like to smile. I like to joke around, but there are a little bit of times where my bluntness or my seriousness might take people aback. I've had people at other points in my career say like, "Oh, at first I kind of you kind of acted like you didn't like me, or you seemed like you were trying to intimidate people or something like that." I was like, "Well, what was the moment?" And then they'll tell me, and I was like, "Oh no," I said, "It was just really busy." And we needed to focus and get stuff done.
Yeah.
So I tend to be, I like to laugh and I like to goof around, but there are also times where it's like, hey, we got to do A, B, and C, and they got to happen relatively quickly. Then I tend to get pretty focused. I don't think I bark at people, though. I hope not. Maybe I do.
I haven't seen it. I just know when you're focused.
Bark away, buddy. Bark away. Jesus, it's you're a welcome addition around here. The halls of EST have changed with seeing your work ethic, and Jay in the conference room the other day made it made me want to do more work. So thank you for that. Although it was kind of a lot of jokes.
Yes, there's still joke. It's possible to do both, I think. But that's kind of you, Joaquin. I'm really happy. It's exciting. I'm excited to launch today, but. Speaking of what you're saying, this being in the conference room with Jay, I'm kind of just excited of getting back. I mean, there's a lot of always, I guess, for everything that Dustin and everybody did this summer. With my show starting and 1 o'clock starting, and Jasmine coming on the Hangout, and I think she's on today, right? At 9 o'clock. So that's exciting. There's been a lot about September 3rd, which is exciting, and we get going. But I'm also looking forward to just getting back into the process and day-to-day of hosting a talk show, because I haven't done that now since the middle of July, which is the longest break I've had from work, maybe as an adult, I guess, if you include going to school, I suppose. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to today, and I'm also looking forward to getting through today and then just going back to firing out shows on a daily basis.
It's going to be awesome. Super excited about that. Reid Wilkins joining us right now. Reid will be on the air at 3 p.m. right here on Edmonton Sports Talk with Jay Milne for the Reid Wilkins Show. And Reid was talking about the launch, and we're super excited. Obviously, I'll reiterate that. Lots to talk about. And you and I have discussed over the years many a time the Edmonton Elks, formerly the Eskimos, and we share frustrations, thoughts, this and that. Reid, they went post to post yesterday at McMahon Stadium. That was a satisfying victory if you're a green and gold fan, was it not?
Well, I thought that was their best game of the season. And then I guess when in this era, when I say something like that, that makes it maybe their best game of the last four seasons. Because what are they? They only have 15 wins in the last 3 2/3 seasons, and the second half of really 2019 they weren't that great. The second half wasn't very good. The second half of 2018 wasn't very good. So I mean, this is one of their best games in about the last 6.5 years. But and this was even with a couple of missed opportunities in the first half to get some points. I mean, they had the ball on about, I think, the 25, took that intentional grounding penalty, punted. And the punt was shanked, and Calgary got the ball, I think, in a better spot than Edmonton was, and they didn't get any points. Faithful missed the short field goal in the second quarter. So, and one thing I really liked, and you guys know that I say this all the time, that of course we talk a lot about skill and depth and all those things when it comes to winning teams, but I often talk about, can a team just figure it out, you know? And the Elks haven't had that in recent years. And you look at all these close games. Well, you don't even have to go back. We can just talk about this season. All these games they've lost, you know, the 3 late field goals, couldn't get in the end zone against Montreal. Even that game in Ottawa, I think they lost by 5 or 6, just, you know, couldn't get over 20 points that would have won it. And yesterday, whenever there was a momentum turning play, it was almost always the Elks that made it. I mean, yes, give Calgary credit for that punt return to stay alive. The Elks come back and put it away with the touchdown. I mean, 4 interceptions. The fumble, the offensive fumble return down to the 1 yard line. So they controlled the game. There's no doubt about that. But whenever Calgary appeared to have something bubbling, Edmonton often just figured it out and snuffed it out. So look, they're still alive. I mean, it's. If you look at the standings, it's Montreal and then everybody else. I know Ottawa still has a good record. I think if you look at if I were to do power rankings, I now would have Montreal, Winnipeg, and BC up there. You could probably throw Edmonton into the conversation, at least for how they're playing lately, as maybe number 4 in those rankings with 4 wins in their last 5, and the only loss being to Montreal. I think 8 and 10 gets them into the playoffs. I now think Winnipeg and BC might separate a little bit, especially since Rourke came to life against Ottawa after a couple kind of mediocre first 2 starts. So, yeah, it's exciting for the stretch drive. They play teams in the division, except for the one game against that they still have against Toronto, who's beatable as well. I mean, they're having a very up and down season. So, yeah, they're right in there. I think it's going to be really exciting final 2 months to the regular season.
Reid, you mentioned the first half where Bethel Thompson kind of underthrew it, like left some points on the board at that point. But then we look on the other side of the ball. Jake Maier, 4 interceptions. Is this an evolution of the secondary, a little bit of the Elks defensive core? Like there were times where you could see Maier going through his progressions, but just having nothing. And obviously forcing 4 turnovers at that time. At the beginning of the season, what I saw was the inability of that secondary to stop the other team at crucial parts. Like this game was still with 10 minutes left. It wasn't completely over at that time. Has the secondary of the Elks gotten a lot better, or is this just more so a quarterback just not being at the top of his game?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. I mean, I do think, well, obviously the team play has improved overall since Chris Jones was let go, which is another almost odd discussion point.
He was a happy guy yesterday. Yeah.
Given his given his defensive reputation and how, last year offense was the problem generally. It hasn't, even when he got fired, they'd scored some points. They just couldn't get stops. What I'm hoping it is, Joaquin, is yes. I think I'm willing to say there might be some baby steps there. They still give up some big plays, but that's also the nature of football. But hopefully there's some cohesion and stability building there, because what happens when you have a bad team year after year after year? You're bringing it like Niles is Niles Morgan now not the longest serving player? I think they said I think Dustin and Suter said yesterday he was the only one who was on the game they won on Labor Day in 2021. So it's just constantly changing players. And then you look at a team like Winnipeg, well, all the good guys are back every year, right? Because they found good guys and they keep them. So I hope so, Joaquin. I also think Maier didn't have a good game, and he's always struck me as a very sink or swim quarterback. I mean, he can have some gaudy stats, but watching him the last couple of years, I've also found like when he's off, and a couple of those throws yesterday either weren't great or it just looked like he wasn't on the same page as his receivers. Mm-hmm. And when those 2 Calgary guys, I'm getting a little bit off topic here, like when they ran into each other, I think it was the second offensive play of the game. I mean, if one of them catches it, if it's not a touchdown, they're inside the 20 before they're tackled, and they defended each other and knocked it down. So I hope we're seeing a little bit more from the secondary. I do think Kai Gray is very good. I think he's one of the best defensive backs they've had in a while. Bynum makes some plays, which is nice to see. So hopefully they're coming along a little bit, but I think maybe just cohesion and stability is starting to pay off, that now the same guys are playing together almost every game. And Purifoy is amazing.
Yes.
Like I would class him as one of the best defensive players, best players in the CFL. I mean, I don't know if CFL, if TSN put him in their top 50 when they did at the beginning of the year, but he's an excellent player.
He hits like a freight train. Yeah. When you get caught in the trolley tracks and he gets you, like, look out. Plus, he's got quick feet. He can pick off passes. You were alluding to the interceptions yesterday. You and Gage were talking about that. And then the other thing is on offense, Reid, McLeod Bethel Thompson pops off for 486. I know one of them was that long play where Geno Lewis caught it, fumbled, and then Tevin Jones gave the deuces and then went down to the 2-yard line, and then they punched it in. And then obviously Jones gets redemption when he scores a long touchdown as well. I know we have talked about at length about Trey Ford, and then when he went in there and the team started to have success, that came at the time of the transition from Chris Jones to Jarius Jackson. How do you look at this quarterback situation now? Because, McLeod Bethel-Thompson basically had his best game as a professional football player yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to play him in the rematch. I know when Ford was able to dress yesterday, certainly a lot of people, me included, were like, well, don't you put him back in? I mean, he's pretty exciting, but MBT is a good quarterback. I don't think that should be lost in this. And when they were 0-4, he wasn't the problem. Now, I know you can still say, well, the quarterback's the most important position. So if they're not winning, he's got to take the responsibility. Fair enough. But he had pretty good stats. So they were moving the ball in a lot of those games. And I mean, you mentioned the secondary, Joaquin, like going back to that first game of the season, he didn't fumble when the Elks had a lead in the fourth quarter. He didn't give up 3 touchdowns to Bain from Saskatchewan. I mean, there were things that went wrong that were out of his control. I think he's a very intelligent player. I think he knows where the ball is supposed to go, maybe almost to a fault sometimes, because I think, he's very cerebral and he knows where he's supposed to put it. And then, sometimes if he does, like, I didn't like it last week in Montreal when Gino cut that pattern off and he threw it ahead of Gino, and then he ran right up to him and started giving to me, do that on the bench. The cameras are probably going to catch it anyway, but to me, like, do that on the bench. Like, just wait a minute to tell your receiver, like, he's not on the same page as you. But I mean, he's a talented player, and good point, Tom. I guess he got some quote unquote bonus yardage if that fumble return counted
Absolutely,
as passing yards. But okay, take that out of it. He still threw for over 400.
Very good point.
He threw for 410 instead of 485 or whatever it was. I guess I try to look at this as not as, there's a quarterback controversy. I try to look at it as they have 2 guys who can start and win games. And in the CFL, not every team has that. I mean, look what Edmonton did to BC when Adams was out and Rourke wasn't there yet, and Dolagala played. I mean, they took him apart pretty much.
Yep.
So, I guess at this point, I want to try to avoid the discussion a little bit. But what happens next year? What if Ford doesn't play? He doesn't come back. I mean, they need to win some games. Like they need to bring some confidence. I mean, of course, everybody wants to talk about the fan base, and yes, but in that locker room, like everybody talks about the culture this team has had over the years, this franchise has had. Bring it back into that dressing room. We're the big dogs. We don't fold in the fourth quarter. We set the tone. We play physical. We get leads. We win home games. Hopefully that starts coming around a little bit more. All that kind of stuff. So. I just think you keep rolling with MBT, and it can always be game by game or series by series. And if you have to put Ford in, what a luxury to put him in. I mean, he started, around a dozen games now in the CFL. He's about 500 as a starter, which overall isn't great, but for this franchise is the best they've had recently. And plus, he's such a change of pace guy, right? Like if you're planning on playing against MBT all week and then Ford goes in, oh, great. Now the blitzes aren't going to work the same way. Now we got to be a split second. We got to wait a split second longer on the play action or the RPO, because if he takes off, we're doomed as a defense.
Reid Wilkins joining us now here on the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. Joaquin Gage in for LTE. YouTube Trev fresh off of holidays. We got a couple of texts here I love, actually. Owen James texts in and says, the secondary is better for sure, but Jake Mayer has the football IQ of a ham sandwich.
Oh.
He like Reid put it, sink or swim, right?
He put it a lot in simpler terms than Reid did, I guess.
Well, I mean, Owen James.
I'll just ask Owen. Green
and gold fan for sure. Martin Texan says, Reid is the Gretzky of sports talk. What a great pull for EST. Martin, we agree, and we're so excited. Jason and Leduc says, don't worry, Reid, you'll be barking at the inbox soon enough. And then Scalding Gord says, how rude. More like how Reid. Oh, very nice. It is the Reid Wilkins Show, 3 to 6 with Jay Milne. I'm excited about it. I know we've been pumping it up, rightly so. Riedrich, you guys have been rehearsing. Joaquin was talking about it last week, and then I asked you, and bluntly, you were like, no, I think we've got something here. What can our listeners and our audience expect from you and Jay on the Reid Wilkins Show?
Well, I think we're going to have fun. I think we're obviously passionate about sports and the local teams, but I think we're going to have some really good, sometimes fun, sometimes analytical discussion about it. I mean, I think Jay and I both maybe sometimes will like to go down different paths and see where that goes, or look at little details of games or teams and stuff. But I mean, but I also, like, as I was saying earlier, I'm looking forward to just seeing where it goes. I mean, I think Jay and I had immediate chemistry when we met really a few months ago now. And now we've spent a lot more time together this summer. I think there's a lot of chemistry there. I think there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of desire to do a great show and build everything you guys have done over the past year. And I know Jay's been around for that too. And then I think just for me, personally, I mean, if people watched me before or listened before, I mean, that's still what you're going to get. I mean, I don't think Dustin hired me to change everything that I've been doing. It's like when the Oilers were bad. You guys remember this? They were.
Oh, I do.
They were signing players who'd been third line centers and then asking them to go out to play first line right wing. I mean, that's why they lost. So
How dare you besmirch Tyratty like that?
I'm going to be the same, but continue to gel with Jay, and I'll probably make Def Leppard references and X-Men references that about 1/10 of the audience will get. But I'm really looking forward to it, guys. I mean, it's a great time slot. It's an incredible team there. Like, everybody's been so incredible and positive. Being there when I have been and there every day last week, I love going to work, and I'm looking forward to being at the office in, probably 90 minutes or so this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to get back to the day-to-day. I'm very excited.
Rob Texan says, is Reid bringing the Wilkie with him? Can't wait to hear the new show.
Well, people could call me that if they like. Yes, for sure.
And then Big Slam Nasty also getting into the inbox says, I think another reason Reid is excited for the 3 to 6 show is no more people calling overtime open line after having one too many. I'll take care of that via the nasty chat.
I like that.
Yeah, I know. You'll be helping out on the pre and post game show. We'll go to you at the rink and get your breakdown. You're going to be working the room. Give everybody the scoop on the Oilers side of things if you can.
Well, I guess still some waiting for Draisaitl, right? But to me, it's just the amount. I mean, he's going to. I've never thought about him going to free agency or leaving. It's just getting it done, and then the fallout from that. What does that mean for McDavid's next deal? What does that mean for Bouchard's next deal? I mean, you could have 4 guys if you factor in Nurse making close to $50 million total, over $50 million total, maybe. So that's going to be over half the cap, I guess, depending on how it goes. But yeah, I mean, just training camp, okay, preseason games, okay.
3 weeks, Reid. 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's I guess for them, let's just see how the defense shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they lost. Obviously, losing Broberg was significant, given how he was going to have to fit in, with Desharnais gone, and then Ceci goes as well. So, I mean, they used 7 defensemen in the Stanley Cup final. 3 of them are no longer on the team. Mm-hmm. If you look at it that way, those are holes to fill, regardless of how much they played and what their roles will. So I think once we get into the season, and I'm projecting 6 weeks ahead, but I think that'll be sort of the biggest question mark for me is how does the D-core round out after really the same players played almost every game last season because they were so healthy.
Yep. Riedrich, you have a lot to talk about at 3 p.m. with Jay Milne on the Reid Wilkins Show. I will see you in about 90 minutes or so. Thanks for hopping on today, buddy. Really appreciate it, and can't wait for you to just absolutely crush it here on EST with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. There's Reid Wilkins, host of the Reid Wilkins Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can catch him with Jay Milne at 3 o'clock. Prior to that, EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and this man, Joaquin Gage. Gager will be doing kind of easy trivia coming up.
Right.
If you'd like to play, text us 780-218-9999. Get those in. We do have text of the day brought to you by A&W. At A&W, you can start the morning off right with a regular coffee and an egger of your choice for just $4.99. Bacon and egger or sausage and egger on a seeded bun or an English muffin. The choice is yours, but we know it'll be tasty either way. And to make matters even more delicious, this offer is available all day, but don't snooze on this deal. An egger and a regular coffee for only $4.99 is a limited time price available at participating A&W restaurants in Greater Edmonton. Time now for a sports update. Text us if you'd like to play kind of easy trivia. Mr. Mike's GC on the line. 3 questions too many as well. Brought to you by Park Mazda coming up. If you have any questions for myself, Joaquin Gage, or YouTube Trev, or you're just wondering stuff about the universe, fire those our way. It is the Nielson Show, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet, right here on EST. YouTube Trev, all you, baby.
Changing 500. Whoop.
What?
Wow.
Do it. Well, see, he was on holidays.
Yeah. That 10.
Changing 200.
There it
there you
is.
go.
All right.
All right.
Sweet.
It was a Labor Day classic indeed. The Edmonton Elks defeated the Calgary Stampeders by the score of 35-20. Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 25 of 36 passes, good enough for 486 yards. The Elks have now won 4 of their last 5 games. Elsewhere in the CFL, Bo Levi Mitchell remains undefeated in Labor Day Classics as his Hamilton Ticats defeat the 6-5 Toronto Argonauts by the score of 31-28. In the majors, the Blue Jays are back in Toronto for a quick 2-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. First pitch of that one starts tonight at 5 o'clock. And sticking in baseball, Shohei Ohtani's quest for 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs continues as the superstar stole 3 more bases in yesterday's 11-6 win. Ohtani currently has 46 stolen bases and 44 home runs. No other player in MLB history has achieved this feat. Big headlines in other sports, Joey Chestnut defeats rival Takeru Kobayashi, setting a new world record of eating 83 hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. In doing this, Chestnut beat his old record by a total of 7 hot dogs. And lastly, Max Verstappen finished 6th in the Italian Grand Prix over the weekend, to which he said, quote, "Last year we had a great car, which was the most dominant car ever, and we basically turned it into a monster." Verstappen and Red Bull will now shift their focus to the next race, which is the Baku Grand Prix. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
To the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
8:05 live in Edmonton. Happy Tuesday. Hope you had a fantastic long weekend. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage with you in for Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric. YouTube Trev back from holidays where he got to go home, see some family, skipped some rocks as one does. Great to be here with you. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be beautiful out there. Joaquin was saying, 29 today.
No, that's this weekend. Another good looking weekend for people around the Edmonton area. High of 29.
Hell yeah.
Friday 28, 29, Sunday 29. I have to confirm with one Clausen, but
Josh.
Yeah, that was a nice weekend, Tommy. That was
fantastic.
Getting some heat because, as I said at the beginning of the show, winter is coming. And but like I was taking my dog for a walk at the dog park and seeing the slight change in the color of the leaves and stuff.
You said your feet were cold when you were walking the dog in the morning. Yeah.
But I'll say one thing though, my bug assault is getting a workout.
Oh, the wasp.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm shredding wings left and right.
Oh, they're everywhere. They were bad when I was in Coeur d'Alene. They weren't in Arizona, obviously, but Coeur d'Alene, awful.
Yeah.
Calgary, awful. Here, awful. My parents' dog, Penny.
Yeah.
She's a wasp killer, man.
You biting them?
Yeah, she bites them and then she like stomps them. I think where it comes from, and I know everybody out there, like the wasp thing, everybody's dealing with them. But my dad has one of those zappers, like the swatter with the electric
tennis. Yeah,
and I think Penny watches him and she gets in on it. So she's alert and she's like, and she chomps on them. And then when she gets one, she steps on it with her foot. Or with her paw, like my dad does, which is hilarious to see. She got 3 the other night when I went for dinner. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was funny. I was, because there's a little garden area where people garden in Terwilliger.
Yep.
And they grow their vegetables and stuff.
I love that.
There was this old guy, like, in full garb. It was hot out, too. It was crazy. Like, I go, you must be just boiling in that. But then his wife, with the Martina Navratilova zapper.
Great backhand.
And just sitting there as he's hunched over grabbing his cabbage or whatever. And she's just swinging this thing, hitting all these wasps.
Oh.
It was, she was smacking the backhands down the line for sure.
Well done. They are super aggressive. But yeah, like Gage said, winter's coming. Great Game of Thrones reference. All right. Text us 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Get in on the action. Huge day here at EST. Of course, we're going to get to kind of easy trivia and 3 questions too many. Get texts in. If you have any questions for Joaquin, myself, Trev, or you're just wondering stuff, fire those our way. For today's kind of easy trivia, I think we have Scuba Steve, Trev.
I can confirm.
Confirmed. Beautiful. Scuba Steve, ready to go for kind of easy trivia, brought to you by Mr. Mike's Casual Steakhouse, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail, now with 6 o'clocker lager on tap. Oh, delicious. Hello, Scuba Steve. Good morning. How was your weekend?
Very good.
Oh, well, that's it? Very good. No details. Did you get stung by a wasp? Did you have a dog killing wasps for you? What's going on?
No, nothing like that. Played around the golf, watched some good football. Took it easy. Stayed in town.
I like it. That's a lovely weekend. Yep. All right. Joaquin's going to fire some questions your way. We want to give you a GC to Mr. Mike's. You ready to go?
You bet.
All right, Joaquin, take it away.
All right. Trev will start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck, Steve. Did the Elks win the first leg of the Labor Day Classic?
Yes.
What Elks quarterback threw for 486 yards?
McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
Did Charles Leclerc win the Grand Prix in Monza with an incredible one-stop performance?
Yes.
What football league begins this Thursday?
NFL.
Has an Edmonton Oilers German forward signed a $14.2 million 8-year extension yet?
No, he hasn't.
You got it.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit. Take it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations, Scuba Steve, picking up a GC to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse. Very casual, so good. Get the sirloin bites over at Mr. Mike's. Great dipping sauce. I'm a big sauce guy.
You saucy.
Saucy. Well done, sir. All right, time now to get to 3 questions too many, brought to you by the fine folks and Mitch Lewicki over at Park Mazda. Mitch Lewicki says, I got the deal done with Leon Draisaitl. Who do you think you are? I am. That is Mitch Lewicki's original quote, stolen by that Pro Bowler. I'm just kidding. But good stuff. The Bob Father getting in on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, saying today is going to be a good day in oil country with sunglasses, happy face emoji, potentially alluding to a Leon Draisaitl contract. Last I was told, Thursday, there was discussions. Obviously, the hockey world took a step back on Friday after the horrible news about Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. And so if Bob's talking to the owner, maybe something gets done. So we will see. We're waiting for official news. But a question comes in from Krager, 2-parter. So I guess we could, for 3 questions too many, make it 2 of 3. Krager says, with the new Seth Jarvis type of contract, I have 2 questions. 1, do you think the Oilers explore this option for Leon? Maybe, maybe not. We went through the Chris Johnston tweet, said that deferred contracts are an option in the National Hockey League. He alluded to the Shohei Ohtani thing, but it's very rare because players want the money up front. Gager, do you think we're going to see this when this deal gets announced? And why do players not go that route with their contracts in the NHL? Because you were a former player and you deal with finances.
I was just hoping that they did anything for me, actually, Tommy. But, everyone's... It's funny because at this point, Leon's made a lot of dough so far. Like, it's not peanuts he was playing for. We're getting into basically legacy type wealth.
Yes.
And I think it depends on the player. Like everyone will be a little bit different, whether they want it up front or deferred, because I mean, in my case, I think I'd prefer it deferred a little bit. Especially if it helps my team and I'm in a window to win. I don't know. I think it's going to come down to the player himself and where the actual team he's signing with, where they are. Right. Are they in their window to compete right now? So it's tough for me to answer that question without really knowing where that team is at and where that player is at.
Right. It's interesting, like the way finances have evolved, A, in sports, B, in the National Hockey League. From the 80s, the 90s.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's incredible. And yeah, like we joke about, was it Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st, with the Mets, and he gets $1 million every Canada Day, which is incredible. But yeah, I don't know. Like if I was a player and you made bank on your last deal, which Leon did, obviously 8.5. At first, people didn't like the deal, so way too much for this guy.
Yeah.
And then by the last 5 years, you're like, this is a hell of a bargain.
He's underpaid.
this boy's going to get paid. So yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, like you said, legacy, this is not just his immediate family when he eventually has kids. We're talking about his like grandkids, great grandkids and stuff like that. So he already has his place in the Spain.
Mallorca.
In Mallorca, the Spain, on the island in Spain, Mallorca and all that stuff. And
look up pictures of Mallorca.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
It's wonderful. It's very fitting for him and his fiance. So so we're anticipating, it looks like, with Bob saying it's going to be a good day in oil country. Leon Draisaitl likely we'll get some news there. And I think a lot of oil country, you'll hear this collective in oil country today.
Yeah. And I mean, I wonder how much it'd be weird, I think, but how do you think Connor and Leon and their agents discuss things all together as a group too, or
I don't
is
know
it
if the
individual?
Do the agents talk to each other?
I don't know.
think so.
I don't know, but maybe on request of the player, right? We want to play together. We think we're in a really good window. I think if the Oilers do manage to lock up both these guys, because really I would say if Leon does sign, I would say that Connor's not far behind. I mean,
I believe that.
Just get it done. He's kind of a no nonsense kind of guy. Doesn't want to talk about that. He'd rather talk about hockey stuff, right? Like get this out of the way. So if this does happen in the next a few days or whatever, I think you'll see Connor McDavid's contract being done quite fast after that.
That's great news. And I think you're right because they're like frickin' frack.
Yeah.
They're very tight, obviously. Elliot Bartholomew Friedman, Friedge, HNIC, tweeting this out, says, hearing the Edmonton Oilers and Leon Draisaitl have made significant progress on a contract extension. No one is commenting, but it appears we are close to an 8-year extension. I'm curious to see the AAV because a lot of the talk was there was 5 and there was 8. And if it was 5, the AAV would go up. If it was 8, he's playing till he's 36. Obviously, quite likely not the same type of player he is today when he will be when he's 36. AAV maybe comes down a little bit. We knew he was getting more money than Austin Matthews. So we'll see what that official number will be. But we're heading in that direction. So there you go, Oil Country.
If I nail this today, Tommy, like my question was 14-2 8-year extension. Am I considered an outsider at that point?
An insider, outsider?
Outsider.
Insider. Yes, you are. But you have connections. You have your tentacles out there.
No, I don't really. But
I was trying to pump you up.
It's my tentacles are out there, but not in the right places.
Oh, Joaquin Gage, that's why you're the best. All right, question number 2 for 3 questions too many. This also comes in via Krager says, can a contract even be renegotiated? I'm thinking it would be nice to renegotiate the Nurse contract and adopt the Jarvis type contract. I know the answer to this.
Yeah, what
it's
is it?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, you can't.
Like restructure?
You can't do that.
Really?
In the NHL, I think it's pretty rigid.
Oh, okay, because they do it in the NFL. Like Brady did it and stuff. Like
yeah, it's different.
Different, right?
Yeah. So, NFL, it's a different beast altogether. Burger Lur says, this is question number 3 for 3 questions too many. What's the over-under on years until we are complaining about Leon being overpaid? Great question. Go for it, Joaquin.
How many years until we start complaining
about Leon being overpaid? Oh, not even years. Probably months.
No, I don't think we'll ever complain.
There's people that were trading him last year on post-game shows.
I know what you can get. I mean, I said on Friday, I don't think Leon Draisaitl was signing. I thought he would test the waters. What we're hearing is maybe I am the outsider trying to be an insider. But I thought he would test the waters, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And get to it. And then people would be losing their minds having him and not trading him by the trade deadline, thinking we got to get something for him. But I think it would be way more valuable. You can't trade him because you couldn't.
I just got a text from someone on the inside.
Oh, yeah?
Said, are we getting news today? Yes, I think so.
Wow.
There you go.
There we go.
Expect the Leon Draisaitl contract.
Tune in 1 to 3.
Yeah, right here on EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas, followed up by Reid Wilkins and the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. We are so excited to be launching our full 6 to 6 schedule. Obviously, the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show with myself, Hernan Salas, and Matt Cassian will be getting going in a couple of weeks. That first game is on the 22nd. They have a split squad game, on my birthday. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm working on my birthday. Although we're going to see what we're going to do for pre and post. Probably just get Hernan and I back on the unit, the tandem bike together, just because we haven't done a show together in like 3 years.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're probably going to get some Draisaitl news. The insiders, Friedman saying, sounds like a deal's coming. I just got a text from someone from the Oilers saying, yeah, expect some news today. And Leon Draisaitl. So a happy start to September for Oil Country. This coming off the heels of a big Elks win in Calgary. And this is the sweet spot on the schedule when it comes to the world of sports. All right, so we got to kind of easy trivia brought to you by Mr. Mike's. Congratulations, Scuba Steve. Knocked it out of the park, 5 for 5. And then that was 3 questions too many, brought to you by Mitch Lewicki and the fine folks over at Park Mazda, who are Mitch personally taking credit for getting the deal done. It was announced. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Like LTE throws out those.
They're great.
Those liners that he makes up on the fly, which are fantastic with Mitch Lewicki. But there you go. So expect some news from the Oilers on Leon Draisaitl and an extension. So the big sigh of relief. Text us 780-218-9999 and get at us in the nasty chat as well. DJ Petrin says, rumor has it, Leon waited until today so that EST would be able to announce the extension on one of their shows.
Well, he listens. We know he listens.
Well, he's a hardcore EST nasty, yes.
He thought that it would be a great idea with the launch of the 2 new shows, so everyone gets a chance to discuss his new deal and get it out there. So he decided to wait, which is, thank you. Dankeschön.
There you go. Well, and it is Oktoberfest right around the corner. Which happens in September.
End of September.
There will be a lot of partying going on in the fan park. They got the tent almost ready. Well, they have it's laid out there, the framework for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and all the pillars to hold it down. And I was like, oh, they are so smart.
Man, it's I'd never been to in Munich to Oktoberfest, but we were there a week before in a little town called Straubing, and they had their own Oktoberfest. It was a week before. Man, those big yard beers, I don't know how those girls carry those things.
Belzy has indulged in Oktoberfest from when he was playing in Germany. And he said, the ladies, when the waitresses, when they carry those big...
It's crazy.
And they can carry 10 at a time.
Yeah, it's nuts. And they're the big steins. The big... And they pump up the alcohol in them so you can't just sit there all day and drink them. They're probably running 8-9%.
Oh,
so
that's like a meal.
Oh gosh, they're just delicious too. If you've been to Germany and drank the beer, it's tough. It took me 3 years to drink the beer here after I was in Germany. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I said to Belzy too. I'm like, well, are they bigger girls, like strong? And he goes, yeah, they're strong, but they're normal, skinny girls that just can carry 10 steins full of beer. It's super easy.
It's amazing.
They're walking a runway, and it's
and then
beautiful in its own right.
You get the big charcuterie boards, which is great. All the German meats and
lots
stuff.
Of pork
cheese.
products.
Oh, yeah. Yes. It's fantastic.
Delicious. I've got a text coming in from Hydro. Added a photo. Beautiful. I love that in our text line. Good morning, boys. We had an excellent weekend camping west of Sundre, and yes, I got stung by a wasp. And Hydro sends in a photo with his pooch on the shore of the river. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Feels like everybody did have a pretty good weekend.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. My wife and I, we went, we had to do some shopping, kind of getting ready for, my son's done at school, but he's going back winter courses. Got his schedule, starts in January, but he's working with the great company Weiss Johnson right now.
Ah, yes.
And I still got to have his lunches kind of prepared, but we went to go get some cleaning products, and my wife and I were just talking the whole time. We walked into Canadian Tire and stood there and just started laughing because we both forgot what we went to the store for.
Both of you?
Oh yeah, we were like two old people in the grocery store that why are we here? So if you're of my vintage and you've gone to the store with your significant other and forgotten what you went there for the first place, let us know. 780-218-9999. Yeah, how did your first weekend of? Hey, oh my gosh.
Amigo. Hernan Salas in the flesh.
The heat is here.
The Latino heat making his presence felt. Text us like Gage said.
Let me know if you go to the store and forget what you're going there for, because it can end up costing you way too much.
Costco, it's the trap, man. I have to go there today.
Nice.
Yeah.
You go to Costco?
I love Costco.
What do you go there for?
Well, today is gas, first of all.
Okay.
And then secondly, like laundry detergent.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That makes sense.
I love, well, they always have deals. And then B, I also worked there for 4 years.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I was in the tire shop. And I have this crazy loyalty to Costco where I'm like, I need to go to Costco. Yeah. They have the best stuff.
Nice.
Anyway, I could talk about Costco forever. I enjoyed my time working there prior to going to college. We got more news from Friedman. If you're just joining us, it sounds like we're on our way to hearing about a Leon Draisaitl extension with the Oilers. Finally, people around here super happy because they were getting nervous. And Fried saying, we will see the exact total, but AAV approximately $14 million, which is the highest in the NHL. Of course, until we hear next summer probably about a Connor McDavid extension, and then he's going to reset the bar. Listen, we'll get the formal news, have people from the Oilers text to be saying, yeah, expect some news today. We'll get this Draisaitl news. We'll digest it. Obviously, there are people that'll love it. Very few will hate it, but there's always the naysayers in oil country. And then next summer, we will reshift our focus to McDavid and his extension. I fully expect him to completely set the bar. And if Draisaitl's coming in at $14 million, highest in the NHL, I expect McDavid to drive it up a couple million.
You think?
No.
I don't think he goes over 15.
I think he's like 16.
Really?
Yeah. Especially if he has a huge year this year.
I think, yeah. McDavid 14-8. 14-2, Leon. 14-8. You heard it here first.
I love it. Just scoops over here. I do know that McDavid is very conscious of the cap, of the team, but you also have the pressure of the PA.
Yeah.
And that is something that does exist indeed. Okay. Well, when that news breaks, there's people texting in saying like, Gage, they're waiting for EST afternoons. It always happened at the old station with JMO's slot. Now it's you and Hernan Salas from 1 to 3.
I remember Tide always getting upset and then JMO getting it. So
yeah.
That's,
that continues here probably.
Perfect.
We're going to get to your text. We're going to get to That Hurts, brought to you by James H. Brown after the sports update. Great to have James H. Brown on board, not only on this show, but the Reid Wilkins show as well. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Joe from Stoney says, pay Leon $40 million with his signing bonus, $1 million per year, $80 million deferred, $5 million cap hit, and he makes $128. I just got a text from our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta, expected to be $115 million total. Not bad. YouTube Trev's giving it the money.
He can furnish that place in Mallorca now.
Oh, it's already furnished. I actually one time said, hey, when do I get the invite? And he laughed at me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And I was like, I'll see you next summer.
Show up.
Hasn't happened. That is... we'll see. We'll see if I can pull that off. Cal in the park texting in. Hello, Cal. Say hi to Sarah for us. Hey, Tommy, a girl that can carry 10 beer steins sounds like wife material.
Yeah.
Impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Propane Pimp says, quote, especially if he has a good year. Haha. Like McDavid still needs to prove something. Yes, Propane Pimp. When he put it like that and in that context, he doesn't have... All he needs to do now is get his ring. But what if he pops off for 150 again? Yeah. I guess you could... Listen, take it with a grain of salt, but... I guess you can say he had a down year this year. He only had 100 assists.
I wonder if these guys look at other leagues and see, Steph Curry signing that, 64?
60, ridiculous.
And just going, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's, if it was any other league and these guys were in it at their level, they would be making astronomical compared to what they do in the National Hockey League level. Yeah. But I mean, still $14 million a year. That's nothing to.
Nobody's sneezing at 115.
That
million
becomes very
dollars.
difficult to spend, man. Yeah. That's hard to do.
Legacy, as you put it. All right. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Get at us in the nasty chat. It is the Nielson Show, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage in for Dusty, and Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev, with the sports update right now.
It was a Labor Day classic indeed. The Edmonton Elks defeated the Calgary Stampeders by the score of 35-20. Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson completed 25 of 36 passes, good enough for 486 yards. The Elks have now won 4 of their last 5 games. Elsewhere in the CFL, Bo Levi Mitchell remains undefeated in Labor Day Classics as his Hamilton Tiger Cats defeat the 6-5 Toronto Argonauts by the score of 31-28. In the majors, the Blue Jays are back in Toronto for a quick 2-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. First pitch of that one starts at 5 o'clock tonight. And sticking in baseball, Shohei Ohtani's quest for 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs continues as the superstar stole 3 more bases in yesterday's 11-6 win. Ohtani currently has 46 stolen bases and 44 home runs. No other player in MLB history has achieved this feat. Big headlines in other sports, Joey Chestnut defeats rival Takeru Kobayashi, setting a new world record of eating 83 hot dogs in less than 10 minutes. In doing this, Chestnut beat his old record by a total of 7 hot dogs. And lastly, Max Verstappen finished 6th in the Italian Grand Prix over the weekend, to which he said, quote, "Last year we had a great car, which was the most dominant car ever, and we basically turned it into a monster." Verstappen and Red Bull will now shift focus to their next race, which is the Baku Grand Prix. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months interest-free and be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor. You can find them next to Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common.
Baseball bat, a man with a tendency to overreact out of control. Oh, and so it goes. A kid with the promise, with the friends with the tats, hopped in a car, now past the scalpel, stat 6 feet below. Oh, and so it goes.
It is the Nielson Show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage with you alongside YouTube Trev, holding things down behind the monitors as we go into year number 2 here at EST. The Nielson Show brought to you by the fine folks over at South Fort Chevrolet. For the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask. Tell them EST sent you, and you'll get 15% off accessories on your new ride. And they're talking about Silverado 1500s and the heavy duties. If you're in the market for one, go see Daniel and the crew there. Visit their website as well, www.southfortchev.com. Obviously, lots of excitement. Leon Draisaitl, looks like the announcement's coming that he's signing an extension. Actually, we just got the email. $14 million per year, 8-year contract for the Deutschland Dangler. YouTube Trev just throwing out a woo. Ashley Schaefer, BMW. Woo. Yeah, well, there you go. So the deal is done. What say you? Text us 780-218-9999. Get at us in the nasty chat. Collective sigh of relief in oil country.
Wow.
I had people saying, I don't think he's signing. I don't think. Last night, people were telling me, I don't think he's staying. Relax. He's staying. The kid wants to win, and he wants to do it with his friends, and they have a great thing going here this year. Should be good. Pagnato. What did Pagnato say?
Pagnato, Draisaitl's contract is done. 8 years, $112 million, $14 million AAV.
There you go.
There you go.
It's done.
Dunskies.
Draisaitl signed. It is official. The Oilers dropping that, and he is locked in for the next 8 years in orange and blue. All right, we're going to break it all down, but we need to get some business taken care of right now, and that would be in the form of That Hurts. And it's brought to you by our new partners over at James H. Brown. And That Hurts brought to you by James H. Brown, injury lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Great to have them on board. They will also be a big part of the Reid Wilkins Show, starting today with Jay Milne, 3 to 6, right here on EST. Gager and Hernan Salas, who's in the building, have EST Afternoons launching today, 1 to 3, and then Jasmine joining as a co-host permanently.
Nice.
On the Hangout. That's coming up right after the Nielson Show. All right, let's get to That Hurts, brought to you by James H. Brown. You know what? When Trent Brown was playing with the Eskimos, when he would drill a receiver, maybe a running back on a blitz, that would hurt for sure. But now he's delivering the goods with us here at EST. I'm going to go back to F1 really quickly. We'll get to the Draisaitl stuff, obviously. You know what hurts? Crashing in practice in your first F1 race or first F1 weekend. Kimi Antonelli with Mercedes, but he's going to be a part of them going forward. Him and George Russell. He's got the seat. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton leaving to go to Ferrari and the Prancing Ponies, who had a big weekend at Monza. But you want to make good. You want to, not wreck someone else's ride. He did that, Kimi Antonelli. But he bounced back. He had an all right weekend. It's got to be a ton of pressure to step in like that and try to have a big performance.
Yeah, George Russell had a good poker face when he put his car into the into the wheels.
Yeah.
What was really impressive though, his first lap was tops at that point. Track rubbers in, gets a little bit more grip, and obviously times would have come down from there. But this kid's fast, and trying to impress a little bit much. Toto Wolff said, "Look, we're not. This isn't going to affect our decisions moving forward with Antonelli taking that second seat." And by all accounts, he was in the F2 car before that, and getting into the F1 car, which is a completely different animal,
right?
And but showing he had pace. And he said it. You'd much rather see teach a driver to slow down than teach him how to be fast.
Right.
So I think they're all right.
All right. That's That Hurts. Kimi Antonelli putting the car into the wall, and then they had it back on the track, I think, in like an hour or something like
it's
that.
crazy.
So
it's crazy.
Fantastic. All right, Gager, what's your That Hurts?
Yeah, we're going to stay with F1. McLaren, the papaya rules, how they look like. I mean, Dusty and I on Pit Stop Pals for years were talking about how Ferrari just kept making all these mistakes where Charles Leclerc probably should have, I don't know if he would have beat Max a few years ago, but should have been a lot closer.
Right.
And it just seems like they're tripping over themselves with some of the decisions they're making, where this weekend they've got the constructors' points locked up, but why not switch spots by the end with Lando and Oscar to keep that, especially when you see Max finish where he did, so far down. This was a golden opportunity to close that championship distance, and they didn't.
It was odd, yeah.
It's weird that they didn't, and I know there could be. Buxton was talking about what's in the contract for both drivers, and there's all these little stipulations that are put in there. But look, I want to see it. I want to see Lando and Max battle it down to the wire for the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Lando's got tons of confidence right now. They're in the best car. Let's see this happen. I know teams they value the constructors almost more, just because it's the monetary gains of it and everything else. But, we also want to see a championship battle like we did with Max and Lewis.
It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic a couple of years ago. Down to the wire, obviously, the Nicholas Latifi crash that led to absolute chaos. No, Mikey, no! Total Wolff going off in the radio. Total Wolff speaking very openly, too, about Max Verstappen potentially joining Mercedes in a couple of years. And you talk about Red Bull, like people leaving, Max complaining about the car, like Trev was saying in the updates. It's going to be interesting. No shortage of drama in Formula 1, as they like to say in French-speaking parts of the world. I'll add in another bonus that hurts. That hurts, brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers. To those that thought Leon Draisaitl would be leaving oil country.
Yeah, well, I didn't say he was leaving. I thought he would test the waters.
I'm not alluding to you. You
yeah,
I know.
Tommy.
Somebody texted me. I thought you said he was going to test waters, but to those, I had people in other markets being like, he's not staying in Edmonton. He's not staying. I'm like, he's going to stay.
Yeah, you said it, Tommy.
Stay.
I really didn't think so. Everyone, that's the beauty of here. We're not all on the same page. We're on the same pages to the fact that we're trying to build something special here, but we have different opinions with players. And me, from an older player's perspective, I thought, you know what, this is his chance. We always talk about players. They get to a point of, being an unrestricted free agent to see what else is, if there's other opportunities. But, I mean, 112 million. That's impressive. And the Edmonton Oilers just put it out 9 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Leon's locked in.
Is that good? 100 and something $1 million. Is that good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's like winning the Lotto Max twice.
Oh, boy. Bones chiming in says, not sure if 14 is a hometown discount, but it's not too expensive in my mind. If 29 and 97 come in under 30 total, it'll be good for the Oilers. It's not a hometown discount.
No.
And
he already took, he didn't take it, but it turned out to be a hometown discount.
That 8.5 per. One of Peter Chiarelli's best signings. I mean, we rep Peter Chiarelli. We discuss where he took the franchise. But we forget that, A, he got that deal done. B, he assembled a good team in 16-17, but just as quickly disassembled it in that summer and relied too much on young guys.
Unfortunately for him, he thought the team was at a different level than it was, and that was, in my opinion, it was because of the play of Cam Talbot. He covered up so many defensive deficiencies of the Edmonton Oilers that they thought they were in a better spot. But I also saw that Torrey Krug is undergoing season-ending ankle surgery.
Yeah.
So that just freed up that cap space that the St. Louis Blues, I think they have even more now. So
yeah, they
interesting.
Do. Yeah, they do. Obviously picking up a couple of former Oilers with offer sheets a couple of weeks ago, but people here rejoicing and happy that Leon Draisaitl will be in orange and blue for the next 8 years, getting paid a big time. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. We have to do confessions. It is Tuesday, coming off a long weekend. We'll get to that. Brought to you by Spectrum Rental. Let's get to some confessions. What do you want to confess? I know I'm throwing this at us really late. If you have any confessions, text us.
I did confess earlier that I perfected the burger, but I'll confess that I completely screwed up making margaritas.
How?
Well, I got some other flavoring, and I tried to mimic the spicy mango margarita from the taco shop, and I just I couldn't do it. It was terrible. My mixology skills aren't good at all. So
you're a guy that, like, if you set your mind to something, you strike me as someone who's like a perfectionist.
Oh, trust me, Tommy, I drank a ton of tequila trying to figure this thing out. Maybe that was the problem, but I just couldn't get there. You gotta. It's like the old thing. You drug dealer, you don't sample your own goods. You gotta get. I need more tasters. I can't be my own taste tester next time. So
okay,
I'll figure it out. It'll be a hot weekend. I think it's another margarita weekend for sure. I will try to make it so that I confess I will perfect that margarita this weekend.
Well done. I believe you, and I'd like to sample it. If you need somebody to taste test, I confess really quickly. So earlier in the show, I talked about it. There was a stray kitten that ended up at my parents' place. I love dogs. I'm a dog person, but I confess that little kitten kind of stole my heart a little bit. And my mom's like, SPCA's closed. My dad went around the neighborhood asking people if that was their kitten, and she got out. And I was like, maybe I'd take her.
It doesn't surprise me that you're a fan of the felines, Tommy.
Stop it. Trevor, do you have a confession?
Do I have a confession? I might. I don't know if I said, I said this off air for sure.
What?
So I'll touch on this. But yeah, since I've been here the whole year, I had some stomach issues. Obviously, we all know the whole wing thing that kind of hurt me for quite some time.
Yes.
And since I've been working here, it's kind of funny, but I've put on like 50 pounds.
50?
Yes.
50?
Yes.
No, you said 15.
No, 50.
50.
Dude,
How much
I'll
do
show you
weigh
the
now?
photos. I'll show you the photos. I'm like just under 180, which...
You were 130 pounds before?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Dude. Yeah,
Really?
no, I'll show you the photos. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. When I was back home this last time, all my family was like, wow, you look so healthy now. Like, I was like really just, I couldn't put on any weight. So this time when I was going back home, obviously you're looking through all the clothes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't gone through the pants in quite some time. And I had 18 pairs of pants. And I confess that I only have one pair of pants that fits. Because do you remember when you took me to the Oilers game when we went in the press box, obviously?
Yes.
Do you remember the pants I was
You were
wearing?
wearing a suit. You look great.
But I was
you were
like,
such a
dude-
proud boy. I was a proud papa that day.
I was very scared because going up the stairs, I didn't want to
rip them.
They were that tight. So I had to go get not including my dress pants, but yeah. So I had one pair of pants, but now I have 3 pairs of pants.
Okay,
I got
good.
some pants while I was on the holidays, but yeah, like it's crazy. It might be a little bit of the beer that we have laying around here.
It is
And,
really good beer that we have laying around here.
So that's my confession. It's kind of crazy.
Well, if you need a new suit, we're going to take you to see Jared and Richie over at Modern Measure.
I like the sound.
Those guys are the best. Absolutely fantastic. Martin texting in saying, Tommy's picking up Costco-sized cat food today. I just don't want, no, I'm a dog guy. I love dogs. I wanted my own dog, but we got my parents' Penny and that little kitten, man. I was just like, she was like a dog too. She was following my dad around, following my mom around. She was eating Penny's food because we're like, what do we give her?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a Bernese mountain dog guy.
You have a great dog.
Boone is awesome.
Pets, but maybe this kitten's kind of like a dog.
Maybe.
She has the attitude of, she was like rolling around. Penny wanted to play with her. She hissed at Penny. Sarah texting and says, Tommy, you realize that cat isn't going anywhere, right? It has Eva's heart and it's home. Eva G was like, I like her. She named her Khaleesi.
Great name.
Yeah.
I have friends that named their daughter Khaleesi. Actually named her Khaleesi. And this is probably like season 2 of Game of Thrones. So a long time ago.
Wow.
And
what a dominant character she was.
And it was funny because all the names are quite original.
Yes.
But I asked, it's because of Game of Thrones? Oh, yeah.
Well, who has Khaleesi on their top names until you see Game of Thrones? I remember in Lloydminster when I was doing news, at the end of the news broadcast, because usually news is not really pleasant stuff, obviously. When it bleeds, it leads, that whole thing. Like it's true. But we'd always save like the lighter stuff and the fluff for the end. And we would always like find stuff on the wire. And I remember reading out like the top names of 2008 or 2009 back then. And then there was like the most unique names of that year. And it was in Alberta. And they released these names. And the craziest name I had ever seen. And this was a name that parents gave to their daughter. And I read it out and I kind of laughed to myself, but hey, to each their own. White Angel Victoria was this newborn's first name.
Jeez. That hurts.
That hurts. Says YouTube Trev in the background. So yeah.
Don't mess with Trev. He's bulking.
He's bulking. He confessed he's put on 50 pounds.
Wow.
There's no way you were 130 pounds. Come on, dude.
I literally have photos. It's insane, man.
I do remember you.
It was like 133.
You still have a trim fit physique.
Well, that's getting a little bit
robust.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like Leon Draisaitl's contract.
Yeah. Like I'm still, but I'm healthier now. Like I was really, really, really skinny. So I'm definitely more my own weight right now. But I was just looking at the nasty chats. It's the donaires, man. Like I was averaging like 2 donaires a week. Like still have some.
Too much.
Like that's like some weeks I was like maybe having 4. I'm not even joking. That's like. Man, it's the greatest thing I've ever
Well,
had
that
in my
first one I saw you eating over there, like you were eating that like your plane was going down. I was
like, nom.
I confess I feel bad. I introduced you to donaires.
Yeah. So, that's thank you, Tommy. It's the donaires, man.
Well, I didn't
They're a game changer.
want to see you put on 50 pounds,
But it's
50.
good. It's good. It's healthy.
Yeah, they're delicious. They're not nutritious, though.
There's some protein in there.
He gets the jumbo, double meat, extra cheese and sauce.
I only have like one Donair a year, and I regret it after every
I
single
love
time.
it. Sometimes you just need one.
Oh, you do.
You just need one. All right. We're going to get to the wrap brought to you by William Huff shortly. Andrew texting in says, Tommy, if you already named the cat, it's already over. The cat is yours. My parents are very stubborn. I'm the same way, but she's so cute. And even my dad liked it. You could tell.
Well, yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah.
Following him around in the garage there.
It was hilarious because he was complaining about Penny, who's his best friend, as she was chewing on a bone, literally with her paws on his foot. And I was like, you're complaining about her, and look at her right now. She's right there with you, and you would cry if she went missing. and the little kitten named Khaleesi was following my dad around. He's like, okay, like, go to your bed. And she listened, and he's petting her, and I'm like, you sucker.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That is it.
Oh, man. All right, let's get to the wrap brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at williamhuff.com. In business since 1952, so you know they're incredible at what they do. Go see Bruce and the team. They've got our place looking good going into year number 2. They've dressed up Rogers Place. They've dressed up Commonwealth Stadium, and they are absolutely top-notch. So if you need something done, wrapped up, go see William Huff, and they have Rogers Place all shiny and ready to go. For Leon Draisaitl and his big ticket that he just signed officially today.
He could wrap his whole house with that kind of money.
He could have it wrapped up in gold, Jerry. Gold. Gager,
good.
What did we learn today? What do you think? What are we watching?
Well, we learned that Leon Draisaitl is a very rich man. I think is what we've learned, and we are going to discuss what that means for the future of McDavid and his contract, and probably talk about lines combinations for the rest of the day, which is great.
As one does. Let's see. We had a bunch of texts that have been coming in regard to Leon Draisaitl. RCN says, should have known Leon was saving his signing for #EST Day. Lots to discuss on the Hangout. Jasmine's going to be on there. Matty Iwanik's moving stuff around. He's excited. Hello, Jasmine. There she is. Oh, my goodness. What did you bring?
Samosas.
Oh, delicious. I'm going to be...
That's okay. Trev will get them.
Yeah, well, Trev will eat all of them. He's 50 pounds up.
Yeah.
Oh, my. He's down to 3 pairs of pants.
Changing 100.
All right.
Oh, what did you do there, mister?
Yeah.
You played them at the same time.
That's what we do.
Oh,
300.
Awesome.
300. Nicely done.
Well, we were talking before, Tom.
Yeah.
We were speculating if this happens. You had mentioned this probably happened last week or something. It didn't he didn't go into the office and sign this thing. This was probably done a few days ago. And with the tragic passing of Johnny Gaudreau, I think it was in very good taste that the Edmonton Oilers waited over the weekend and to do that.
Obviously.
So clicks for the Oilers for timing.
Well, yes, well played. Traction on Thursday, and then obviously the horrible news, and then today we get the Leon Draisaitl extension, 14 schmil, 8 years, big bucks for 29 in orange and blue. This one says, Big Slam Nasty actually texting and says, got to pay him a little extra. Poor guy has to play until June the next few years. I think a lot of people would like that after that run.
Jesus, Fergie, you got to send texts in that we can read.
What's Fergie?
It's directed straight at you.
At me?
Oh, yeah.
Fergie, stop it. Is Fergie playing the bagpipes at the Estes?
I believe so.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Bronco Nick wants the name of the suit place.
Oh, Modern Measure.
There you go.
Downtown Edmonton Tower. Right outside of part of Ice District. Go see Jared and Richie. Tell them we sent you. The boys will take care of you. Local, proud partner of Hello Hockey, which gets going again in a few weeks. Belzy's waiting for the arrival of his fresh bebe.
I saw Belzy and I. Well, we live quite close to each other. We see each other at the supermarket. It's every time we go, and it's funny because we see each other at a distance, and it's like, those love movies where two people are running across the beach to one another. That's how it's like, and it's funny because we're like, hey, and we're yelling across the thing. So it's
people rolling.
We have
their eyes at you guys.
a nice little bromance going at the local Save-On.
There's a lot of bromances in this fine office.
Although everyone was sick at home, so
oh no,
he was he's dealing with that.
He's got another one on the way. Shout out to Lindsay because she is a trooper.
Yeah,
she keeps Belsey in line, and then little Evie is a absolute.
She was a former dancer too.
Oh, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At where my daughter dances. Belsey's in for it's too bad because my daughter will be long gone. But when he has to deal with the dance mom, you thought hockey dads were bad.
Oh, the dance moms. Well, Evie, if she gets into that, she's already a little troublemaker in the best way, adorable. So good luck to Belsey. Yes, we'll get Hello Hockey going. Bronco Nick, go see the boys at Modern Measure. They're absolutely tremendous. Yeah. All right. We have a couple minutes left. Gager, EST Afternoons with you and Hernan Salas. It starts today. That'll be followed up by the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. We're about to celebrate 1 year of EST. We've rolled out the fresh graphics. YouTube Trev worked on those for a long time. Fresh. They look great. Awesome. What are you excited about with your new show here at EST?
Well, it's just it's great to have, again, this time of year, the start of kind of fall, I guess you could call it. Mm-hmm. Leaves are changing, sports are starting. Seeing Hernan jacked up. And
he's wearing his glasses today.
We got a lot to talk about already with this, and we're working on getting some unique guests. I've talked to a few old people that I've grew up with.
Seagar better be in the mix.
Actually, not a lot of people remember, but Don Blair.
Don Blair,
old receiver for. Yes. I think he was with the Elks.
He was
with the Eskimos at that point, and Stampeders. I think he got a little bit of a cup of coffee in the NFL too. So I actually went to high school with him. So I've spoken with him to get maybe a little bit more in depth of a receiver for some CFL stuff, and just some old guys I used to play hockey with. Some names that might click. Some names are, who is that guy? So
Jason Bond Sr.
Bond Sr. for sure.
Okay.
That's going to be a extended episode of him ripping on slats because he ruined his career. Although we used to call Bond Sr. the Tin Man.
Why?
No heart. Or the Cowardly Lion. Cowardly Lion, sorry.
Oh, that is ferocious. Yeah. You like that? EST Afternoons with this man, Joaquin Gage, and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas. Coming up next, it is the Hangout with Jasmine. She is here. She's ready to go. Her dress is ferocious, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it shortly. Matthew Wannick standing by. And then, of course, the debut of the Reid Wilkins Show at 3 p.m. following EST Afternoons. Reid and Jay ready to rock. A big thank you to Reid for stopping by this morning. Dustin Nielson, who was on the show earlier. He'll get the rest of the day off walking the kids to school. Maybe a little tear of happiness, bittersweet, and also very happy around here is everybody who is a fan of the Oilers because Leon Draisaitl signing his 8-year extension, over $100 million, 14 mil AAV. YouTube Trev has a big spit-eating grin on his face. Also, a little sprinkle of sugar on top. The Elks laying the boots to the Calgary Stampeders in the Labor Day Classic. That's going to do it for the Nielson Show, brought to you by Southport Chevrolet. For Joaquin Gage and YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hit that thumbs up. Enjoy another full slate of EST as we go 6 to 6 for the first time ever. Coming up next, The Hangout. Ciao for now.